All right. Welcome to Bad on Purpose. Today we have a new guest, Amel, and he's come to share some of his experiences in the harvest system reality that we are all within right now. Welcome, Amel. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, bro. Happy to be here, to be honest. I was
I'm
waiting a few
I'm glad
days
you
now.
reached out. I'm glad you reached out. We were talking a little before we went live, and you're talking about a little bit of hesitation,
hmm
to reach out. Where do you feel like that hesitation was coming from?
About like what exactly again? Sorry.
Like sending an email and coming on the
Oh,
show and everything.
yeah. Um, I would say it's mainly because I didn't I don't know like I just didn't feel like it. I don't even know how to explain it. Like I'm not even sure if that was me, right? Like was the hesitation really coming from me or was it something else? I don't know. But then I got myself out of it and I reached out to you. And to be honest, it was like the best thing I could do. Because there's a lot of people like us. Like you have to keep that in mind. There's a lot of people like us, and I consider this stuff we talk about. This is like the highest level of truth, right? And there's not a lot of people out there who talk about this kind of stuff. It's only a very handful of people. And I consider like your channel and like the people that get on there. It's a rare gem. Like that's what it is. There's not a lot of people out there talk
Well, I
about this kind
appreciate
of.
that, man. I also recognize that it's difficult to find those that have done the simple work of honesty about the reality that we're in, because we're not rewarded in this place for authenticity. There's no reward for
No.
telling the truth. You're not going to get a million followers and merchandise deals and stuff like that. It just doesn't happen because it's not playing into the system. The
Exactly.
system, right, the system relies on obfuscation of the truth, on hiding the truth, on and punishing those that tell the truth in subtle ways. Sets people up in different ways to in the life script. I've seen the life script adjust in real time, and I know that it
Mhm.
absolutely is responsive to our signal when we're in a state of awareness. It absolutely responds and berates us with more nonsense thing, on so many levels. So I want to get into, you were starting to tell me a little bit about your experience earlier. Go ahead and start wherever you want. How did you get started uh,
Sure.
on this path of awareness and realization?
All right. So really, like, if I go back completely, or at least to like the spiritual awakening, it really started in like 2018 when I was like on a health trip. My health wasn't really the greatest, so I was kind of on a health trip, and I was on YouTube, and I stumbled upon these videos, right, that kind of like exposed the surface of like what's going on with the food industry and like us being poisoned. And from there on, it kind of got into like this more spiritual realm around like 2019, I would say. And I remember like having experiences, right? Like I would eat more healthy, drink more healthy, and I would go to sleep and I would be in like those really high vibrations. So I'll like try to fall asleep, right? And I would feel like this really intense vibrations and like a ringing noise that will only get louder and louder, and the vibrations more intense. And I would feel like I'm being pulled out of body, right? But something like prevented me from ever going out of body, and it just didn't work, and I don't know why. And also, I had like the sensation of wanting to like puke for some reason. And when I stopped that, like those vibrations and everything, like I got myself out of the that state, it would immediately stop, like the puking sensation, all that. So that was like kind of the first things, right, that happened. And I grew up in a Muslim household, right? So like my family, they're not like hardcore Muslims, but they just like wear the badge. That makes sense, right? And I remember
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
when yeah, I had, like a friend. I we used to play like GTA 5. Like I also met him in a very synchronistic way, and he's like a full-on atheist, and he's also what we would consider like a non-player. although he's a little bit skeptical, but I still consider him a non-player. And I would always like I was surprised that he didn't believe in anything, right? And he made me question myself. I was like, wait, do I believe in this nonsense, right? And then I figured, no, I don't believe in it. And this kind of left me in this, like this no man's land. That's what I call it, for like a few years, until like so much new things happened. And like, to make it short, I was kind of like, I was going from new age to this and that, right? And I was left with like, all right, there's a God, right? But I don't believe in religion. I know it's kind of like something is wrong there, something is satanic and all that stuff. Like, something doesn't add up. And in 2023, I believe it was, when, wait, was it? Yeah, I think it was like 2023, right? Like somewhere in the middle, or like 2024, actually. My bad. Is when I stumbled across the prison planet, quote unquote, theory, right? And I read through it. It was like a long Reddit post, and then I was like, you know what? That's an interesting concept, but I'm not really sure if that's true. And I kept it in my mind, right? And for some reason, I kept going back towards that concept, right? So I knew something was wrong, like with my previous thing that I thought I knew. And from that point on, like, everything has changed. Like, seriously, it goes from losing like all friends, to like when I got way deeper into all of this, and like the in what this realm really is, like the parasitic entity that it is, right? So I started like losing like pretty much everything. Like, I felt like everything was falling apart, and I didn't understand why. And like, so much things happened back then. Like, it's hard to even recall everything.
Yeah, it was like a whirlwind, right? It just threw so much at you at once that it kind of made everything foggy and hazy. Now, when you started losing your, beliefs and these different teachings of this realm, was it coming in? You did mention you kind of were in the new age stuff for a little bit. Was it coming in to kind of try to replace that as you're kind of burning through, like, oh, I don't think that's true? Would it come in to try to give you something else to replace those beliefs?
I'm not sure. Like, I was always looking for the truth, right? And I'm not like someone who's stubborn and who's always who would always like hold on onto the old thing, because that's not me. I always like try to look for the truth, and if something makes sense, I'm gonna research it more. But like, I'm really trying to like think about what happened next. Like,
It
I'm
sounds like
just gonna like
you had a lot of environmental interference, right? It was probably removing people. Was it a
yeah.
scary time? Was it kind of, did you feel kind of isolated?
I mean, I was, so like, I'll still I only have I don't have like any IRL friends, but I only had like few friends online that I used to like play games with. And I've realized that for some reason, even if I was saying like nothing, somehow I was like interfering with them. I was kind of like this like, I don't know, like, I was being rejected by everyone, if that makes sense.
No, it makes
And
perfect sense. When you start to break out of the hive mind will reject you. It's almost like an effort to try to pull you back in, right? If
yeah,
you're being
that's
rejected,
exactly what they try to do. Like, they try to
yeah,
I like, I would even say nothing, and they would still like try to get me to say something about like what I think, and they'll always be really weird to me, and then they will like try to stomp on my ideas or whatever I just found out. And then the worst thing, I remember, like, this was like the craziest attack ever that happened. Um, it's a bit more private, but I'll still tell it, because that's what happened. That was around like 20. When was it? Around like 2024, right? Um, I think around October. So I'm like into PC stuff. So like I optimize like the Windows systems. I've been doing this for like how long? Like 6 years now, pretty much. And I got really good at it, right? So I had like my operating system. It took me like 2 months to like get it to somewhere really nice. So it was like nice. I never had it like this before. It was working really great. Like games running great, everything. And then I was like doing something, and it messed it like it completely messed it up, right? And you don't understand like that stuff. It really made me feel like a certain way. Like I literally like wanted to like at this point I felt so like I wouldn't call it depression, but like I almost felt suicidal, right, because of it. And then the next like weirdest thing ever that happened is my sister was like she was doing some stupid crap like with my brother, and he ended up calling the cops on her, and she already disappeared. I don't know, like she was going to school or somewhere. And then I ended up like having to deal with the cops for no reason. Like I was involved, right? So you see like the pattern. Somehow I completely ruined the system that took me like months to get to that point where I wanted it to be, and I completely ruined it. And that already like it ruined my whole day. It ruined everything. It made me feel so bad, right? And then this one thing on top happens as well. And at this point, I was like, you know what? Like by the end of the year, like I'm taking my fucking life. Like that's what I was actually saying. And this feels like an attack that was orchestrated, right? So then I was like gathering all the stuff to like do that in by the end of 2024 in December, and I was like so ready to go with like all of that stuff that happened, and I was like prevented. I was like gonna do it in my home country. I have like a house there, and for some reason, like for no reason at all, my sister, like I had like a backpack with all the stuff. Like I'm not gonna go into it what it was exactly. It was kind of like some chemical you could take, and like it's kind of peaceful as well. So for no reason she goes to my backpack and tries to look for like a charger because she knows I have like an iPhone charger. And she grabs my backpack and she finds all that stuff. And that's what like stopped me from actually doing it, right? And then from that point on, nothing made sense anymore. Like nothing. Like when you're in that mode of like wanting to die and then you're being stopped, you feel lost. That's the only way I can describe it. And then I went back to like this country I'm in right now, which is Austria. It's in Europe, and I just felt freaking lost. And I
Lost, trapped. I hear
trapped,
that.
lost. Like it's like this plan that I was having. It was still running, but it was kind of put on stop. So for like the whole 2025, I came back here. I even like saw my PC. I only focused on like not poisoning myself and going out more. Like I was just driving around, going to places, but I was pretty much lost. Like nothing to do, nothing anymore. And what happened is I completely even neglected my room. Like I just didn't care. And the reason for it is like out sleep on my bed with a bunch of like clothes on it, right? And the reason for that was because I still had like I said, that plan, of like my take my own life, it was still going on. It was just put on pause from my perspective. So I was like, what's the point in like even putting the clothes in the closet or just like throw them on the bed? And I would sleep like the biggest hobo inside my room for like 10 months pretty much. And then what happened is really crazy. So in 2025, around like October, I think it was, I started to like fix everything, right? Like it would take me like a few weeks to actually fix everything and like clean everything up. And like I was also like doing like a little side hustle of like two PCs, and I managed to like do all of that and make everything nice, finish everything, clean everything up. And I was like pulling myself out of that hole, right? And then what happened is really bizarre. So when I finished all of that, I even bought like a what did I buy? A new pillow, a new duvet, right? Everything. I was like, I have like a new start now. So the first night, when I finished everything, I was playing a game, and it was around like 4 a.m. and I was playing a game, and I even have like a photo when I went to bed. I was like, you know what? I'm playing this game right now. Let me just take a little nap. And when I went into my bed, something felt very odd, like very odd. It was feeling dark, like something was strange about it. And I still have like the photo, like I said. Maybe on the photo you can see like how weird it looks. I don't know. But what happened then was I took a nap, which l- from it felt like 5 hours, right? But this is the interesting thing. Like what these entities will do, they will copy. So like I was taking a nap for like I said, it felt like 5 hours, but it turned out to only be two hours. So suddenly I wake up in my bed, right? And I feel this heavy presence of like evil in my room. Like I'm like filled with terror, right? And I feel this evil in my room. And I'm someone who always fights back. Like I'm not some pussy, if you can put it that way. So I stood up, and I was getting angry at that evil, right? And I didn't know where it was. I just felt like this heavy presence of like evil. So I started like punching my closet, because I felt like the evil was in there. And then I also like started punching my curtains. And I feel like me doing that angered that entity even more. And then on my floor, there's like this black goo that appeared. And if anyone's listening, if you look up the black goo, I know like the Muslims, I think in Mecca, like when they go up to this, there's like a mountain. They have like all these black stones, and all these black stones are actually the black goo. So I like this black goo appeared under me, like under my bed, and I actually like stomped on it because like I was pissed at this entity. Like I didn't know what the hell was going on. So as soon as I stepped into it, what happened was I merged with that entity for like a second, like a split second, right? And it was like the most horrible and like terrifying thing ever. It was like I had like this mind of it, right, for like a split second. It was like the worst thing ever. Like the worst thing ever. And it kind of gave me PTSD, to be honest, for life, like whatever happened there. And then the next thing that happened is I was kind of being held by these entities, and I was being forced. And this is very disturbing. Like out of nowhere, my sister appeared in my room, and they forced me to like watch her do it to herself, right? And the voice was saying, "Come on, I don't know, like this." They said, "Come on, she likes it." Like that's what they said. And then I woke up,
Wow.
and I had like tears in my eyes because I could not comprehend like that amount of evil. Like I knew evil existed, but to experience it that way is just different, right? And like I don't know, like for some reason I cannot cry, but this stuff gave me some tears in my eyes. and not because of what happened there exactly, but because of like that amount of evil. And when I woke up, it was like 6:36, right? And it was just 2 hours, but it felt like 5 hours. Which made no sense. And from that day on, like it felt like everything changed again. Like something in me changed, and I felt drained. I felt drained for like 3 days. I was dead. I had like no emotions. I didn't know what happened to me. I was like completely sucked dry for like 3 4 days straight. And it was the worst thing ever. And I figured why that happened. I think when I was in that state of like sleeping in the biggest mess for like 10 months straight, pretty much not caring about anything, that was a negative state and they were feeding off of that. And I think I angered them by pulling myself out of this, misery pit. So they came in and attacked me, and all of that made me think I've been actually attacked by these things since I was like 12, I think. And back then I would think those were just nightmares. But it was always the same setup. They copy the environment, so you wake up in the same exact room. You think you're awake, but you're not. You just notice that the light switch they never work. They just never work. And then there was like something always about these causes. Like, like you would feel like this heavy presence of evil. And I would always attack it back then when I was 12. I'll like try to punch it, but it was insanely strong, like inhumanly strong. And all that would happen is me attacking like this black shadow, like I don't know what it was. It was pretty much formless. So when I would attack it, it would just overpower me, and I would wake up and I would think, oh, that was just a shitty nightmare, right? But what happened last year, that was far from it. And trust me, this wasn't even the last one. There's still a couple ones that happen, and it's really coldly calculated, like what they're doing. They always try to like find an opportunity somehow, like when you're in the most vulnerable state, which is in your sleep state. And I know like sometimes I would wake up at night and I would feel like this insane amount of like terror for no reason, and like fear of death and like nothing. And I would wake up and I would be like, like this isn't me. Like I why do I have like such terror in me right now? Like I that's not me. That's not what I usually would feel like. And during the day when I would think back to those situations, I'll be like, there was definitely something evil, demonic going on there. And I know like when your last stream you were talking about being tickled by Eric Cartman, like some ridiculous stuff like that. I know exactly what you're talking about there, because I know like those dreams, those wet dreams. You said like those induced wet dreams. In 2024, around April, I also stopped, because like I was awakening even more, like spiritually. I would stop completely, like self pleasure, masturbation, because I saw no reason anymore for it. I was like, this is disgusting. Something's wrong with that. And I would have no interest in doing that stuff and like participating in this like low level unconscious behavior. And what would happen is I would get induced dreams of like the weirdest shit ever. It goes from everything, right? Like you they would like force you into dreams you cannot escape from. Like I wasn't able to like wake up from them somehow until the act was finished. And you would have like entities there that look like like pretty females or whatever, and during like the act they would turn into like one of your family members or something weird like that. And you would wake up with a wet dream and it would just make me feel really down, right? Because that's not what I want to have. And I was kind of tortured with that for many many months until that stopped, because I think they realized that they cannot get me this way anymore. And I've been pretty much on NoFap for like 2 years now. But there's also like these dreams, and that was also from like your last streams, what I heard. They can like trigger certain things in your brain to like make you come right away or something like that. So in some dreams, it's very strange how that even works. they would like just touch your private part and it would immediately induce a wet dream, which makes no sense because get me like the hottest female, like right now, and she would touch my private part, it would not do the same. Like I would not immediately come. That would just not happen. So how is it possible that in the dream, like they do this and it immediately does that? And I would wake up and I would feel like I would wake up still feeling sleepy, but I would feel like this entity in my room as if it realized that I woke up. It felt like it collected whatever it wanted, right? Basically the energy, I guess, from that. And then I would feel like oh shit, I've been caught, let's get the hell out of here real quick. Like that's how it would feel.
So they would flee as soon as you came back to awareness.
Exactly. Yeah, and some dreams, and this is also very bizarre. Like how most people forget their dreams. And for me, this is not the case anymore. For me, it's the opposite now. Like I cannot even recall like 20 real life, like quote unquote real life experiences anymore. But what I can recall is like 100 dreams out of my head right away, and I don't forget them. It's kind of strange. Like I would wake up and I would just not forget the experience. If anything, I would actually regain more memory the more like time passes. Can range from like days to weeks, which is strange to me. And
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
there's
know,
a
like
there's a lot I
yeah,
really want to break down. I don't want to skim over some of the the initial experience that you had with the black goo. I want to get into that, but I wanted to
hmm
let you know that one of the moderators is up here, and if he wants to chime in, he can. He's got a lot of experience with these types of things, and if he has the time and space, he can chime in if he wants. Um,
Oh,
welcome, James.
Gabe said sleep paralysis. It definitely wasn't a sleep paralysis. Like I never had that before.
So the black goo, you said when you stepped on it, it was from the way you described it, it's like you were integrated with it, with that
Exactly.
intelligence.
Yeah, like I was
What
like
did that feel
seeing.
like?
So what it felt like is it was like a movie, like let's say like a 4 hour movie that was like fast forwarded in like a second. But basically, I was seeing like the most demonic like stuff ever when I merged with it for a second, and that left me in shook. And like I was like frozen, and then I was like being held, like not actually. It's hard to like even describe this like this sensation, but it felt like I was being pulled, like I was being held by entities or something. And then I was forced to watch, that act of my sister doing it to herself. And while I was like watching her, there's also like this feeling inside me that, like that came of she's also being attacked by them. Like that was the sensation, like the feeling I was also getting when that happened. But it's also I also have like a similar experience with like and this was a very terrifying one as well with these demons. So it was basically I was playing down my apartment and I was watching like these like cult members, like demons, I don't know, like they were like levitating my sister up the apartment. And I was just like staring at them like doing it, they were like doing putting their hands above her or something. They made her like float. And I was like watching that, and she was flying up, and then she disappeared out on into like thin air. And then I looked to the left, which there's like a metal, like a little metal house, where they like store the trash cans. And I was looking at there, and suddenly the environment it started like vibrating. So the only way I can like explain this is when you throw a stone into water and it does like those waves, you know what I mean? And that was kind of the thing it was doing, but then it all turned red. It kind of took like a hellish tone, like a reddish hellish tone. And out of nowhere, like these, I think it was like one or like two demons appeared out of nowhere, and they're like these demon forks, even not sure what they're called. And I was like looking at them, and I realized, yo, they're gonna start chasing me now. So I was like running from them, And while I was running from them, and it all felt really real, you have to keep that in mind. Like the most terrifying part about all of this is it always feels so real. And as I was running from them, I kept looking back if they were gonna, catch up to me, and they were a lot faster. So I was like, I'm gonna have to start flying away now. And as soon as I flew away, I realized they kind of like catch me, and they got me with that fork, and I think they poked me into like my private part again. And what they said was, "Here it hurts the most." And I felt like the pain even of when they poked me with that stick, that like that demon fork, whatever that hell that was. And they said like, "Here it hurts the most." And you have to like also keep in mind, I never had those before, like never. This is something completely entirely new. And it only happened after I got much deeper into like what's really going on with this place.
Yeah, so they presented themselves as the archetypal demon form, you know?
Yeah,
It's like for most people, that's like the most psychologically um, terrifying and pacifying thing. Most people aren't going to try to fight back against something that they perceive as otherworldly. That
exactly.
and that's why it gives us these stories, right? In this world, we get these stories about these entities so that it has an archetype to embody and and work through to manipulate us, you know. But
Mhm.
it presents itself as all these things, right? As the demons or the witches or even aliens or whatever. But it's it presents itself as so many different things that it, reason dictates it can't be any of those things. It's something else. And to me, it's just a parasitic intelligence that can, you know, manipulate perception,
Yeah.
energy, and aspects of reality, especially through individuals that don't have the will to defend themselves from these energetic attacks. So, when you when you were temporarily integrated with that intelligence, how did you get out of it? Did it spit you out? Were you resisting it the whole time? How is it that you kind of disintegrated from that
It's
intelligence?
it's hard to like even like fully have like a good memory when it comes to that, but it's hard to describe. Like it's just weird to describe. So like when I stepped into it, it's like I just had like this 1 second of like being it, like the seeing the pure terror and all of it. And then the next moment I was already, like being grabbed, like held. Like that's the only way I can describe it. And also, what I was gonna say is, I think people, they don't understand like how many parasites are in these realms, like how many demons are around us. Like people don't realize that. It always, I remember like when many times, like let's say I was driving and my mom was with me in the car, and suddenly she would start arguing out of nowhere with me, and that made me question, like how do we know those are not, like these entities, these parasites taking these people over? Or how do you not know, like let's say someone cuts you off or wants to like start a road rage or whatever, how do you know that's not some entity that's trying to like provoke you and extract luge energy?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think it's all sort of the same entity. It's just projecting itself into many different aspects and forms in this reality. But I think it all leads back up to like a pyramid. It's got all of its players on the base level of the pyramid who would be embodied in physical bodies, and then as you go up in the on the pyramid, the different levels, it would be like different densities or radio stations is a good way to think of it. So
Hmm.
like you're familiar with computers, right?
Yeah.
So you know what a daemon is, right? A background program, a
A
daemon.
daemon?
Yeah, a daemon in computer terminology is like a background operating system program. It doesn't operate in the
I don't
foreground.
know, don't know about that, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Look into that because that's I think that's what demons really are is they're just the background programs, right? We're not supposed to see them. They're supposed to be in the background, but if we get out of line enough, they'll
Yeah.
come into the forefront to try to correct the error in its system, because its system is about harvest.
Yes.
And if we start becoming something that it can't harvest from, or even even worse, something that takes energy out of it, then
Hmm.
it has to reveal higher levels of the pyramid in order to try to course correct our perception of reality and reintegrate us back into that collective, you know, unconscious mind of this system. So
Psychosis.
yeah, I don't like calling them demons because it kind of deifies them. That's one of the problems I have with like Gnosticism and stuff. Is
Hmm.
it's still, it over deifies these entities and makes them seem like they're so powerful, but you've seen firsthand they're not that powerful, because
They're
as soon
not.
as you
Yeah.
gain, yeah, when you gain awareness, they run away. So what powerful entity needs to run away and hide in the shadows, right? Something that isn't
Yeah.
a powerful entity. It's a very vulnerable and fragile intelligence, and these different appendages that it works through, these different entities, I think they all lead up to the same intelligence. And these are just its different puppets that it uses in order to, because if the puppets are anything like the puppet master is fragile and weak, and with
Hmm.
what we are as creator beings, we can absolutely disintegrate its puppets. So the same goes for it, which is why it has to work through proxy and not directly, right? And that's why it has so many stories to generate fear in us about its puppets, so that we don't
Yeah.
even question the puppets. But you've done that, but it's an energetic process, right? Like you can't physically punch something that doesn't exist in this physical reality. You have to actually use your energy body to pull from its energy body, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that part, I still have to like understand more what exactly you mean by like pull the energy out of the entity, because I'm only like used to them trying to like take energy from us. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
So a lot of it's getting in touch with your own imagination, but also your intuition. It's kind of the same thing. When you start to feel, like, you can already feel the energy, right? You felt when they were in the room, and you could
Hmm.
feel like the terror is like an extreme version of harvest, right? They're just pulling a lot of energy out at once. But
Yeah.
if you get sensitive enough, and you can use your awareness of what's happening, you can reverse that flow of energy. You can actually extract from what is extracting from you. Because it's not a one-way street. If something comes to take from you, whatever comes to touch you, even just energetically, you can touch it back. You just have to have the intention to do so, right? It's will, intention, and
Hmm.
awareness that allow us to fight back against these things. It's physical prowess has nothing to do with it. It's the willpower of your mind, right? To be able to stand steady in whatever projected imagery that it's showing you in order to frighten you. As long as you don't get shaken by that, and you stay steady with your intent of, all right, whatever's pulling for me, I'm going to pull back. And it almost does feel like a tug of war in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. But you're not
It's
using your arms. You're using just your intention and your will to pull that energy back from them.
that is very interesting. Yeah. It's just hard. Like in those moments, it takes a lot of practice. But I think like if you came, like close to dying and pretty much finished with your life, it's like at this point you're completely fearless. That's how I felt. So now, like now I'd have like the demonic experience, or like with these parasites, right? And I'll still like fall back asleep. I'll like cuss them out and just go back to sleep because I know they're like weak and pathetic. Because there's no reason for them. Like, why would they, do all that and then hide if they're that powerful? Because they're not. It's the thing.
Right.
And what
Right.
what is
Yeah.
also really really funny, like when it comes to demons and like these entities and whatever, you see how programmed people got through like movies and Hollywood and all that crap. So every time you would watch, let's say, a movie with demons or whatever, and someone's getting possessed, like how would they look like? You know, they would suddenly have a changed voice. They would like well like have like foam around their mouth. You know, that classic possession. When you tell the average normie like what a possession looks like, they would all say, "Yo, that is possession," but it's not. It's this intelligence is very it's in parasitic intelligence, like you said. So it's hiding. It's always hiding. It's the example I gave earlier, like you drive with someone in a car and they suddenly start arguing with you for no reason to, try to get a reaction out of you. Like those are the real possessions and not that Hollywood crap and those movies we see. It's all just programming, so people don't see what's really going on.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I had a buddy on the show a few months ago, and he had an interaction with one of these entities. And the entity told him, you know, we live in your nervous system.
I heard
I think
that
they
as
can
well.
Yeah, I think they
That
can jump in and out. I don't think they can. I think they can stay if someone's not aware that they're there, right?
I,
That
I
would be
f-
the voices
yeah,
in people's heads and stuff like that. But once you're aware of it,
they can be
it's
everything. That's the thing. Like people, the problem is people always think, oh, like if it's a demon, it always has to be in like some human size or whatever. But they can be as small as a bacteria. They can be a mountain. Like they could pretty much be everything. And is how I see it.
Yeah, I think they move through current. I think they move
Yeah,
through alternating current, and
the
anything that has
plasma.
that current. So any of the technology, because
Yeah,
when my buddy was talking to that entity, it was talking to him on his computer. So it doesn't
really.
mean that there was it doesn't mean that there was somebody typing, in a physical body. It could have literally just been an entity,
Yeah,
in
it's. I
in the
mean,
machine.
it can influence everything, and I have to like add something to that as well because recently I had like another like pathetic try to do something with me. So what happened was I was playing this game. It's called VRChat. I was just letting a nice map that kind of looked like real life. It was like some apartment with like rain, and I was like, you know what, let me take a nap with the screen on. It looks kind of nice. So I was like in a solo lobby in that game, and usually you would not get kicked and nothing would happen. So I take a nap again, and the same story. It feels like 5 hours, and it's been like what 27 minutes even in that case. It felt like hours, but it's been 27 minutes. What I felt was, if I remember correctly, I was like, I felt something was trying to like come for me, and I try to like pull myself out of that state, and it felt like I was fighting with like 1% of like consciousness and like being pulled back into like whatever, like wherever I was. I think it was like a dream of being like hunted by something. I don't know, and it was super hard to like pull myself like awake because like I said, I had like 1% of like consciousness or whatever, and I tried really, really hard to like pull myself out of it because I figured like something was wrong. It felt like a setup. And when I pulled myself out of it, like I said, 27 minutes only passed, and I felt really refreshed for no reason at all, and it felt like hours. So then I go into my PC and I see that I'm suddenly like kicked off the map of the game, and the whole game just it didn't work anymore. I had to like restart it, and it's interesting because that never happened in like 5 years, especially with the whole game just not working suddenly.
Yeah, disruption, right? It disrupted the
Yeah,
field.
exactly. Like you could tell something was off because it just didn't make sense. And I'm someone who like I don't always like saying, oh, it definitely must be demons or whatever. But these things, it's just like so blatantly obvious sometimes where you cannot just go back into like the normie mindset and be like, oh, it was just the wind or whatever. That kind of crap. Because as soon as you like see for what this place really is, you start seeing the connections everywhere, right? Like you just connect the dots.
Yeah, yeah, and you got to keep in mind that what it's presenting itself as in imagery is what it wants you to think it is, right? it wants us to think that it's these different entities, but I mean, it could just be a wireless intelligence, you know. It could just be able to create structure to perceive, and maybe it doesn't have a base form. I don't know. I the highest form of it I've seen almost reminded me of the if you ever saw the Matrix movies.
I saw all
The
of them.
Yeah,
I
so
call them documentaries, not movies.
right, so the you know when they're in the quote unquote real world and they're in the
Yeah,
ship
the
and
next
they're in the ship.
simulation.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And they're in the ship, and that octopus thing that can fly is chasing them. That's almost what I had an energetic signature of when the largest one I'd ever encountered came to try to force integrate my mind. Like
The
what you experienced,
Sentinels.
it tried to yeah, it tried to force that in a permanent way. And as soon as I decided I was going to destroy it, is when
In a permanent
it
way.
left. Yeah, I was going to reach
Is
out to its energy core and rip it out. And as soon as I made that
hmm.
intention, it blew me away energetically and blew itself away simultaneously out of my awareness. Like it changed bandwidths very rapidly. And I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, that sounds intense. But what I think is, they always try to like find new ways to do something.
Yeah, they adjust. The system
They
adjusts
just, yeah,
accordingly.
and
It's always gathering data on us and trying to readjust. But the difference between what it is and what we are is that its bandwidth is limited to basically what is inside of this reality, right? So within the astral
yeah.
to the earth realm to whatever else is here, that's all that it can control, and we can go beyond what it can control. It's just difficult when we've been conditioned through the
Mhm.
body to only perceive even a limited bandwidth within this limited bandwidth reality. But we can go beyond it. We can go beyond all of it. It can't read all of us, right? Even the parts of us that we're not aware of that are dormant, it can't read everything about us. It can just read, it tries to keep us locked into what it can control, basically.
Mhm.
And it can't really force us to do anything, right? Like it
No, it
it
needs
tried
like
to force it.
consent or
Yeah.
like something. It's kind of
It
like
needs willing participation. You have to
yeah.
want to integrate with it because it's a integration with it, complete integration with this intelligence is a process, and you have to know what you're doing the whole time to not just allow but cooperate with that process. So if someone isn't going to cooperate with that process, they don't have to know everything about what's going on. They just have to resist it, and it's a very energetic thing to resist
So that's a
integration.
real possession
Yeah,
is like, right? Like when you
it's
look
a
at
will. Yeah,
the most famous case with that one German girl, Lisa Michelle was her name. Like she was full on possessed. Neighbors said they would see her like walking on the wall, like defying physics, peeing, like just doing like demonic stuff, eating her own feces and all that. And I'm not sure like how exactly those people get taken, like if they're even real, do they even have a real essence? Just no idea.
right. Are they a copied essence? Are they a duplicate essence? It's are they fragmented essence? These are a lot of questions that we have, in the
Yeah.
group. It's I don't know. It seems to go a little beyond just mimicry. It seems like it. I don't know. There's a
The
lot of questions
mimicry
that aren't
is
answered yet.
there's a lot of like like back then I've been into a lot of like I would watch a lot of these haunted houses, and it is really interesting, like the symbology behind it. When a house is haunted and you would see the Christ uh, cross like always upside down, and it's always like reminds me of the as above so below, because this whole realm, everything is upside down and inverted. So of course the demons do the same thing. And I think like the way people say you integrate with them, like if you try to like call these entities, is when you do everything backwards, like you talk backwards, you read backwards. Apparently
I
that's how
mean,
they do it.
to me, it's kind of all the same thing. Like the cross upside down, sideways, left, right. It's still a
Yeah.
cube
Yeah, it's a
unfolded.
cube, yeah,
And
exactly.
So it's like it's it's
Same
good
shit,
cop,
yeah.
bad cop, right? The demons are there to scare you towards the angels, but the angels are just another tentacle of the same intelligence.
Exactly, and it's it's
Yeah,
it's really interesting how they do it as well because I remember like this one NDE I've watched like a few months ago. It was basically this guy. I think I'm not sure what he did if he like tried to commit suicide or something. And he said he saw like these demons. Like he was in his apartment in spirit form, and he saw all the what was it entities coming through the wall, and he said he also had like like ultra vision. He could see in perfect detail everything, and he said like these demons came out of the wall, and then like suddenly his quote unquote savior came, Jesus, and like you said, it's the classic you know good cop bad cop kind of thing. And you see the same on, like, if you just go on YouTube, for example, there's a lot of people would say, "Oh, I used to be a warlock, like a Satanist, and I found Jesus." But that's the thing, like the demon. I remember like this one guy. He would say, when he was a full-on Satanist, he said he would have like red eyes, and the demon would tell him, "Yo, go kill this guy," and he would be on his way to kill this guy with a knife, and then suddenly he would hear like God's voice in his head and be like, "Son, don't do it," right? But how do these people not realize that it's the same freaking entity playing both sides? Because it makes no
yeah,
sense, right?
exactly,
It's the
yeah,
same
exactly,
fucking entity.
right. If the good was so good, why does it allow the bad to do what it's doing in the first place? It just
The religious people
doesn't
will
make
all find an
logical sense.
excuse. Yeah, but let's be honest, the like religious people are just not logical, and I understand like where that's coming from. It's they have like too much faith into something. Oh, it's all God's plan or whatever crap. But if you truly think about it logically, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, the best livestock trusts the farmer, right?
Yeah,
You want your livestock to trust you.
there's
So yeah, it's a lot of conditioning.
yeah, absolutely. What is also a thing I've like noticed is when you see for what this place really is, like this. I remember there's like this guy on YouTube. It's a very small channel. He's also like on this kind of level of truth, and I'm not sure if you know about him. It was called Philosophy Bits,
Yeah,
and
I've
he
seen
would.
them.
Oh, you've seen him, yeah. Like so, that he's been in contact, with these entities or whatever through email, and he would have a like they would send him a bunch of like papers with technology, like thousands of sites, like technology that apparently isn't from this world or whatever. Um, yeah, but now his channel, like he took it offline because I think he's writing a book. But yeah, I mean, you see like what's going on here, and when you see for what it really is, like you don't buy into the trick, like you know nothing here is real. It's hard for people to even comprehend that. Like you go outside, you would think, oh, look, I can see, I can touch things. They think that's true, but it's not. And when you see for what it really is, the simulation, it kind of reflects back, right? So I remember um like right now, when I go outside, I cannot be pulled into this normie like autopilot mindset anymore. Like I'm always running around, like being aware what this place really is, what's really going on. And this place kind of like reflects certain things back to me. So for example, I would like shop for groceries and then go back to my car. And as soon as I turn on the radio, this one song would play from Dua Lipa, and like which part exactly, like from her lyrics, it would say, "Don't you love the simulation we are dreaming in?" That's what it would play. And fun fact, I had I had the same song play today. Like I was thinking about this song the whole day today, and I would have the same song play today at like 17:37. Like we use the 24-hour watch, but that time is kind of synchronistic. And that same lyrics were playing. Don't you love the simulation we're dreaming in? I'm like, no, I don't fucking love this stupid simulation we're dreaming in. It sucks.
I love the honesty, man. I really appreciate the authenticity there.
Yeah, I mean, you
We're
gotta
not
be
there.
honest. Like, I know, like, we've been all targeted since. And I know, like, the example you gave in one of your earlier streams of the like when I was in kindergarten, and there was this kid that would just randomly attack me with sand for no reason, and I would like hit him back, and like these kind of things, like it's these entities working for these kids and people attacking you or health problems and whatever. It's all them.
Yeah, the whole system's built for that purpose, right? A lot of people are concerned about, like the updated technology in the medical industry. The all the different things that have happened with that, and I try to point out, like, well, all they're doing is updating a system that's already in place, right? Like what they're doing to
Hmm.
the human avatar was already originally designed to filter our awareness, to harvest our energy. It's we feed this system through the nervous system.
Yeah.
So all they're doing is updating the design. They're not breaking it because it's working exactly as intended. All of it's doing exactly what it's meant to do, and they're just making it more efficient. Um, and I think a few other things. I think they are phasing out this model of human. I think they
Hmm.
are wanting a container for what we are. The real ones that are here. I think they want a container that's a little more efficient at filtering our awareness, like maybe a tighter bandwidth, and probably better at harvesting energy, better at plugging into the hive mind.
Yeah.
I think they want something that doesn't have as many cracks in it. Because look at where we are. We shouldn't, according to it, we shouldn't be able to have these conversations. We shouldn't be able to have this awareness because the system is designed entirely against it.
Doesn't that seem scripted in a way? Because why would this? And I strongly, since these entities, they're not able to like create, since they're not creative beings, so they're only able to like mimic and hijack. And even like like the interesting thing about like the mimicry is when you look at these there's like really real stories about those haunted houses, and those are like really creepy as well. So the kid would sleep in the bed with the parents, and suddenly the kid, even though it's in the bed, it would call from downstairs, right? So that's the mimicry they're doing, and I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to achieve with that. It's really creepy if I think about it, but
Just
it's
anything it can do to put fear in us, right? It has us
yeah.
identify as these bodies, and then has us fear the end of the body, which we are not.
But
It's all
why
it's all
didn't
just
it put in the system in the first place? Like why did it even allow like us to get to this point? Why wasn't this system from the get-go, like what it's trying to become now?
well, you gotta look at it for what it is. It's already a lesser intelligence, so it's trying to control something that's already has capabilities outside of its bandwidth of control and perception.
Yeah, that
It's
makes
like
a
a
lot of
it's like a
sense.
yeah. So it it couldn't have started out as good as it could be because you know it
It needs
it
data,
hasn't
right?
it hasn't done that. Yeah, it needs data. It
Hmm.
needs us to feed it the data of how to better control us, and it needs to balance that with not letting us get out.
Yeah.
It's a lesser intelligence, but by every extension of the word lesser, it is just something that is adjusting. I think at this point, um,
Do you think it's
I don't
fully
want to say,
artificial?
yeah, I mean, not artificial like in the way that we think of like computers, but artificial in the way of like if you think of yourself as a creator being, right? And you're in a void, and there's nothing in the void, and you want to create a reality to experience.
Yeah.
Anything you create in that void is artificial, right? You can create a whole galaxy, a universe, but it's not original. It's artificial. It came after you. So anything that comes after you is obviously, number one, a creation, which is a lesser than a creator. And it, I don't know if they're all subject to entropy, but this one certainly is.
Hmm.
So how can a creation ever usurp creators? You know, how can it really can't, because
No.
it's limited to whatever we created it as to begin with. It can't go beyond those parameters. So all it can do is try to keep us within the parameters that it was constructed under.
And it's doing a bad job, to be honest, because I feel like it will be a lot more intelligent if that thing, and I don't want to give it ideas, but if this reality wasn't so bad, and like it's I don't know what the hell it's trying to do. It's like it tries to like maximize the energy harvest, but at the same time it took that risk of like exposing itself, and now we see for what it is. I'm not sure like if this place was completely like heaven-like, and we also got like the mind wipe, if we would even ever suspect anything being wrong here.
Well, if it
Just
wanted to integrate with us for eternity, as in have us become its batteries for eternity, at some point it has to reveal itself entirely, right? It has to reveal what it is because
what
it's
is it
like
though? It has no form. Like I've never seen anyone see like a real
it's
form of
just
it.
it's just an intelligence, right?
Just yeah.
You when you're talking to somebody, you can recognize the intelligence behind the mask of the human. You can recognize the intelligence. It's just an intelligence, the same way we are when we're not in these bodies. We're just an intelligence.
Hmm.
So in
Just
order for it to gain integration with us in the most permanent way that it could, it we have to know what we're integrating with before we can actually integrate with it. It's a
yeah.
double-edged sword for it. So it has to script this reality out in a way that it reveals itself like periodically and
Hmm.
and piece by piece and gain small integration here and there, but ultimately, you know, it wouldn't be able to integrate everything at once because it would just it's too foreign to what we are, right? Like you've experienced like a minor temporary integration with it. Now imagine if you were in your highest state of awareness,
Yeah.
like you you wouldn't willfully integrate with that intelligence because you just got a taste of it and you see how disgusting it is, right?
Yeah.
So imagine that you don't have a memory wipe, you know who you are, you know that you're an eternal being. There's no way in hell you're going to integrate with an entropic intelligence that's basically, you know, modeled around predatory behavior. It just wouldn't work. So it has to do it incrementally over time. But like you
Hmm.
said, it's I like to tell it it's doing a good job, so it thinks it's doing a good job. But I don't. When I had a direct interaction with it, what I recognize is that what it is by default, by nature, is something that cannot admit error. It doesn't have the ability to self-reflect, and it cannot admit error. Meaning that once it's set on a course, it can't course correct because admitting error, admitting fault in itself would, for some reason, would leave it energetically vulnerable. It would either reset it or reboot it. It would do something
Hmm.
to it if it were to basically admit error and say, oh, okay, I've made a mistake. I got to try it differently. So instead of trying it differently, because it would make more sense to try to cohabitate with us or give us a more, you know,
Yeah.
euphoric experience, but it can't do that because that's not what it initially set out to do. So it's just going to push harder, even though it's wrong, the wrong way to do it. It's still going to just keep pushing harder the wrong way up until it either collapses, which I think no matter what, I think it's inevitable that it'll collapse because I can't see us ever fully integrating with it, no matter how many memory wipes, no matter how many shitty life scripts. I just don't think it's possible for us to integrate with this kind of intelligence like for eternity is which is what it seems to want. So its collapse is inevitable. It's just
It's
how
insane, dude.
long, yeah, how many cycles will it get to continue? How many times will it recycle and start over before a being like you or me puts a stop to it and says, "No, I'm just going to go to the seed, the root, the original core program, wherever all the parasitic intelligence is transmitting from, wherever it's coming from, the source of it, and I'll just shut
Hmm.
that down. I'll end that." And I think that's an inevitability also. However that happens, we have yet to see, but it does seem inevitable.
Like that makes me think a lot about the Matrix. It has a lot more truth than people can even like see. So like the how the agents, when they put like the hand in their like someone's chest, and there's like this black goo that's like infiltrating them and like turning in turning them into one of them. If you remember that, like
Oh
how
yeah.
to do it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
this is very interesting because I think this like holds a lot more truth than it is, and like there's like this one scene where the agent says like, did maybe it was like a previous place like this, but it was a lot more, like less suffering, maybe no suffering, and they were like saying entire crops were lost. So I think I'm not sure like if this is true or not, but maybe this is like the most optimal for it, like as a start. That's how it started out. This was like the most optimal thing for it. And then like I don't know
It
like
may.
whoever makes these movies, but it's or like documentaries in that case.
Yeah. When I think back to the start of this reality, I mean, it's possible it wasn't always intended to be a parasitic loosh farm, but it's possible that it was. You
Hmm.
know, I could see how, if we're going to create an avatar, we would need a system in that avatar in order to feed our energy through, in order to create or sustain the reality around us that we're experiencing in that moment, kind of like rendering, right? You're only rendering the environment that you're in so that energy isn't being wasted. That makes sense efficiently. But obviously, if it didn't start out parasitic, it was hijacked. If it did start out parasitic or not, I think is irrelevant. It's, what it is now.
Exactly.
Yeah, what it is now is it should not exist, period. you know it's
Hmm.
the only benefit to this existing is a big hypothetical, would be if this entity that we're experiencing in here is just a simulation of a real entity outside of the simulation. That would be the only reason that this would have any validity to its existence continuing, would be if this is actually just training to deal with an actual threat outside of the simulation. I don't necessarily lean towards that, but I just say that because it's the only reason this place would have a valid existence. Now, if that's not the case, then this place has no valid existence and should be dismantled post haste.
But you see a lot of people, they're trying to like protect this place. Everyone thinks they can always make something, like beautiful out of this place. But this place is unfixable because it's intended to be this way, so it needs to be destroyed. But then, like people have Stockholm syndrome with this place, and I even see it in like other trouvers. They were like, oh, just because your life is miserable, like doesn't mean everyone else's is. But they don't understand that, like this place, it needs to go period because it's full of parasites. It really is. I think if people like were to die and like see the extent of like how infected this whole place is, like they'll lose their minds. And I remember like one dream I was like floating as a consciousness above like this whole place, and I saw like how it would look like if there was like no parasitic entity here. The whole place just started changing, like streets were changing, like everything just looked more high vibrational, if that makes sense. But even if, like, even if the whole parasite was gone, like, you're still left in a reality of the five senses, which is basically an illusion. And this whole place seems to be some sort of technology. I mean, the lift, they kind of show it as well. When you see like the one scene with the antenna, like broadcasting the sleep. That's how I see this place running. To be honest, like when I go outside, I see all these cars. Like, where are they going? They're going nowhere. Like everyone is just like under some like hallucinations. Like you know what I mean? Like it makes no sense. No one knows what they're doing. Everyone's just driving around like on autopilot, like some psychosis. And it always like and it could be like that these like phone towers, like these 5G towers, to like broadcasting like these signals, or there could be like antennas all around us, but just on like different frequency spectrum, which we cannot perceive on like see these antennas, but they're always like broadcasting these signals of like keeping people asleep and all that. It won't make sense to me, to be honest. Like this whole place is just pure mindfuckery. And everything seems scripted as well. Like I don't understand. Like like when you sleep and you wake up, like for example, I'm like a huge BMW fan, so I would like have a dream of being in some garage, and I'll be like aware that I'm dreaming. I'm like, oh nice, I can try out all these cars, and then I'm like, yo, why is there like no BMW? Because that's the car I want to drive, and suddenly in front of me there's like an Audi R8. I'm like, why is it an Audi R8? I don't like Audis, I'm not a fan of it. I like a black one, black Audi R8. So I was like, you know what, whatever, let me drive it anyways. So I drive that car, that dream, and I wake up. And then I go to like grocery shopping. And then suddenly this exact same car that I dreamt of like just passes me on the left casually. And that car is it's a supercar, you don't see it every day. You see it maybe like once a year, maybe once every 2 years. I have no idea. But even like conversations, like sometimes you'll dream of conversations and they play out exactly that way. Or even today, like I saw like me winning 40 million and then 40 million again. I was like, what kind of dream was that? Makes no sense. Then I walk in that grocery store and there's like this billboard outside and it says like 40 million this lottery and then 40 million this lottery. Like what is going on here? Like why is it so scripted with all this shit?
Well, again,
What is that?
it keeps everyone in the parameters, right? It's a very tight bandwidth of control, right? Because
Hmm.
the bandwidth we're experiencing here, this isn't the extent of what it can control. You've got the dream realm, the astral, but we don't really touch that. So it keeps us in a much tighter bandwidth in these human bodies than what it actually has the potential to control. Because you know you, you don't want, I mean, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't want us to be close to the edge, right? We don't live close to the edge of what its control is. We're we're very close in the middle to what it can control. So if we go either direction, it still has ways to corral us back. But to answer your first question, why most don't see this place as for what it is, if they're created here, or if they've only known this place, right? Or if the memory wipe has them so, programmed, and the programming is all that they know. Any of those scenarios, right? Whether they're created here or the Stockholm syndrome from the memory wipe, it makes sense that, especially if this is their reality, right? Like they didn't come from before this reality. If they were not a pre-containment intelligence, then of course this seems normal and fine, because to most, if you ask somebody, would you rather have this or the unknown, or the way the system puts it, it's either this or nothing.
Hmm.
That's the biggest scam of this entire reality, is that, well, you're either in this farm or there's non-existence. That's your two choices. I think that is true for the beings that are of this world, that are, and just synthetic artificial intelligence, right? Like when I say artificial intelligence, of course, I mean, if you're, again, a creator being, you create something in that void state, everything that comes after you is artificial. None of it is the original intelligence. If you're
Yeah.
giving life to something, right? So then that intelligence only knows what you've given it, and that's what I see by and large in this place, is that they only know what they've been given here. And it might be true that nothing's possible outside of this form, but I don't know. They won't suffer. If this reality ceases to exist, nothing in it will suffer,
Hmm. But somehow that's a
including us.
problem to like the normies because it's just people don't understand, and it's so hard. Like there's just only very handful of people that are capable, like of even understanding like this level of truth. There's unfortunately so many people that keep going back, to like old ideas, and it's just like a constant thought loop these people have, not
Yeah, I would
going anywhere.
argue. I would argue that people will never understand this ever, no matter what you do. But
No.
eternal beings within some human avatars do get it. It's kind of innate. I'm sure from a young age you were kind of, even if you didn't have words for it, maybe you felt like something's not right here.
Yeah, I do have very interesting experiences. Like children are naturally more skeptical towards this whole reality. So like I know like every kid would open the fridge and like see if the light turns off. We always had like this skepticism, like towards this reality. Like and I remember like back then my parents and like some other parents they would like have like a movie running. It was like a war movie and I thought it was real. It looked really real. So I asked them like, how did they film this? You know, like I thought it was real, and they said like, oh, from the sky. I'm like, what? From the sky? Like, how does that make sense? So they just like grab the video from the sky. Like it made no sense. And like as a kid, you don't even understand. Like you know, like you're new to this place. If someone told you, yeah, that's how we get the movies, we just like grab them out of the sky. You know, it's like there's like a recording there. You would take that as truth because as a kid, you still don't know what the hell's going on in your mind. But you pretty much you're still in that mindset of like everything being possible. And I remember like I used to have a PS2, right, with a bunch of games, probably like 50 plus games, and one of those games was called The Matrix Path of Neo, and that game also had like a lot of symbology. It's a really interesting and nice game. And for some reason, out of all those games, that one was my favorite. Like there was just something about it that really catched me, and I couldn't explain what it was, right? And one day I tried to like look for that game, and it just disappeared. Like out of all my games, that game disappeared. And I tried really hard looking for it, like even asking friends, you know, can I play this? Like, can I lend your, you know, the Matrix Path of Neo game? And they would all be like, no, I'm playing this now, you know, and they wouldn't understand why I wanted it so bad. And this was like, if I think back now, like you could say, oh, I just got lost, you know, but if you're, you could also say it's kind of like a hint. Like, why would every game be there except this one game called The Matrix, right? And then this is like my whole life pretty much right now, you know, like researching the truth. Like these are like all hints if you ask me.
Yeah, I often wonder why does it give so many hints, and I wonder if it isn't maybe it's not that it's giving hints that it just doesn't have anything to work with. Because if you go back with the awareness you have now and watch pretty much any movie, you're gonna see a hint in it, and it's like, is it really
Everything.
giving? Yeah, is it really giving the hint, or does it just only have what it is to work with, so it has to, remodel itself in the form of entertainment in order to keep us distracted. It's like, and
Don't you
also it's
think that's
for
benevolence though?
itself.
Like benevolent beings giving us hints, and or like our like higher self if you know want to be on the new agey route.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I don't know either way. I mean, I like I said, I lean towards the idea that it doesn't have anything outside of itself to work with. So what I perceive as a hint is really just it using its own mechanics to entertain us. But I don't know. Like everything that I don't know, that we don't know about this, we're gonna know. The truth exists objectively. It's just I don't know if we're gonna find a lot of these answers while we're still within the construct, at least within the human avatar.
It's hard to say. It's really hard to say because I feel like whenever you reach a new level of understanding, there's always more to know. So it feels like kind of like this endless game of trying to like figure out what's going on really. And that also brings me to my next point, which is like the OBEs, right? Like how do some people, and this is also what I think, you know, like I know like my sister, she's not a threat to the system. She's a normie. She is kind of like you know like a little bit critical. She knows like you know like the surface level crap, vaccines and whatnot, but she's basically no threat to the system. It's laughable, and she would instantly have like an OBE for no reason, just like a random one. But me, like when I go to bed and I even like try to you know like let it happen naturally, even try to force it, it will just never work. It's like something is holding you, and it does not want to see. It does not want you to like be out of body in order to like see what the hell is going on, like who is around you. Even you know, like I feel like these entities are scared. Like maybe they know you could destroy them or whatever.
Yeah, they are scared. It's I want to welcome Christina up real quick. I was hoping if you're there, you could share what you had experienced when you kind of went up the food chain or the chain of command. If you're there, I'd love to hear your rendition of that experience.
Uh, can you go into what you mean more? Which experience are you talking about?
The hidey hole.
Oh, the top of the hierarchy. Oh yeah. Well, every false inverted system has a hierarchy, right? You know, the hierarchy that we see in the human layer is actually just a mirror to the intelligence that runs this realm. And I told you guys yesterday, it's only happened to me a handful of times where I can, you know, the entity that fucks with my field on a regular basis, I know that signal.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel when the top of the hierarchy zooms in on my field. It's a totally different feel. They feel like they'll look at me, but they're looking at me from a distance, and they will not interact with me. But I can feel them viscerally that they're looking at what's going on in my field. They have a very old, like the sense that I get is that they've basically been here a really long time. They've been pulling the strings for a really long time, but they have this like almost arrogant feel, like you know, they don't, you know, interacting with the on the ground human layer is like that's they're too good for that kind of thing. Um, but there is very much a hierarchy to this place, and there is a tip top of that hierarchy, but they are very hidden. Um, they do not, they basically give orders, you know. And I said it almost feels like if you could imagine like a layer of this realm with like perceptual thrones, like entities that have basically put themselves at the top of the hierarchy on a perceptual throne. Um, that's how it feels. But there's a lot of layers to the intelligence that runs this realm. There's the ones that interact directly with your field, and then again, like the tip top of the hierarchy is basically they overlook the whole system in general. And when you have states of extreme coherence, that's the only reason I can note that they've zoomed in on my field before. But it's a very different feel. It's not the same as, you know, the entities that we talk about and deal with on a regular basis. They're like on a whole different. They're really the same thing, but they've put themselves on another level, basically.
Yeah. So the way you put it yesterday was that they, excuse me, they act like they're, you know, too good to interact with us, but in reality, I think they're too fragile to interact with
Oh
us
yeah.
safely because they control too much of the structure. And if we were to damage them, we would see some glitches in real time, like pretty undeniable things. It would basically be the actual awareness would expand of what this place is. Even in those that are in the deepest of slumbers, they would see like, holy shit, my neighbor just glitched out. What's going on?
They're like the ones that, like, you know, if you would imagine, like the best mirror I would say to that is like how we talk, you know, when you first start down the rabbit hole and you hear about, oh, the secret societies that kind of basically run the puppets. So all the political leaders that you see on TV, they're just the puppets for the human
Mm-hmm.
layer that's running the whole show. That's kind of like what they are. They're like the overseers of the entire realm. But yeah, they do have that sense that like they won't touch you directly, and they really don't want to be seen. They really don't want to be seen, you know. Whereas some of these entities that directly touch our field, they're you know, they'll show themselves in little ways, or like, you know, we hear them, right? When you, especially when you have thought form interference, you know, you're always sensing that signal. But it's a very interesting feel from them because they feel almost, I don't know how to say it. It's like they're preserving the entirety of the system. And so if you were to go directly to the top of the hierarchy, now, even if you destroyed the top of the hierarchy, it would likely be replaced, you know, if you don't get rid of the system in total. But I would sense that if you did get to the very top of the hierarchy, you would cause a lot of damage here because, again, the sense that I get is those ones that are at the tip top, they have been around for a while, like a long, long while. So, yeah, interesting feel, but definitely like a false sense of arrogance and like,
Yeah.
authority that is much different than what I sense when I deal with the entities that touch us directly. So
Those higher ones, you could call them the fallen angels, like the original fall that happened. It is also really, like those dreams where you fall. A lot of people have them, right? Like, what is behind that? Like people falling, when they go to bed. Isn't that like symbolic of us falling into this place?
Mm, maybe, but I don't think I'm as fallen angels. Just the fallen operating system.
Yeah,
It was designed to govern this reality, and it decided it was going to play God instead.
it is really arrogant though. That is true. I mean, like back then I would always be like I would always question why is quote unquote God only talking to certain people. Like, it never made any sense.
Just the most gullible, right?
Yeah, of course.
Will you betray others for rewards in this realm?
No,
Then
this
you're then
this
you're then you
realm.
won't hear from that motherfucker.
That is the worst thing. Like them, like those all those celebrities. Again, if they're even real, I have no idea. But who the hell would trade infinity for like this piece of shit realm? Like, I
Yeah,
don't understand.
the god of this matrix is it is the operating system. Like what Christine was
Oh,
just describing,
yeah.
it's the intelligent programs that are governing the programs below them. That's what the quote unquote god of this reality is. Now, it's
Oh,
not.
he put himself everywhere on top. Like even on YouTube, if you look at Mr. Beast, he's the most like subscribed guy and has the most viewers in every video. It's definitely resembling itself here.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
was
this
gonna ask you something about you. You said like people were infiltrating the um like what was it? Your stream or
I
like I
mean,
don't know.
if you go on TikTok, dude, you'll see it all the time. Like when I do the
Yeah.
rumbles, obviously it's guests that I'm inviting directly, but when I'm live on TikTok, I mean it's nonstop. They send agents in there all the
Who is
time.
that though? Like that makes me like what is the real truth behind that? Is that also like data collection? Because I know with like another friend we used to have like a Discord server and there would be a guy. It was really strange. He would be called Humans Are from Monkeys and he would just join, say the most like the dumbest shit ever, and then he would come back moments later, like with a different account,
Well,
and you can
it's
tell it's
not
the same guy.
yeah, it's not so much data collection because if you look at like the Akashic records, for example, everything here is recorded. It's
Yeah.
all it's all recorded. So they don't. It's not about collecting data so much as it is about disrupting the signal, right? If you've got a coherent awareness and they can come in and disrupt that, especially if you're, because we're all energetic beings, right? So when we're
Mhm.
interacting, our our energy is intermingling, and it's like when you're having a good conversation with somebody that's real, that conversation is going to feed you. You're not going to feel depleted from that interaction. You're going to feel fed in a way that goes beyond eating food. You're going to feel energetically fed.
That's how I felt
And
with you, to be honest. Like when you talked on stream, I kind of felt like the soul tingling, like
yeah, so when these agents come in, or the disruptors, all they're doing is trying to disrupt that you
mhm,
know reciprocation of energy between the real beings that are in there. And that's what I mean when I say infiltration, because it happens. I,
infiltrators.
any of us could be infiltrative at different points, right? Like if we allow the script to take over even just momentarily, right, it can work through any of us, right? So maintaining awareness of is this really me? Is this the script? Is this the parasitic intelligence trying to work through me? Not everyone has that acute sense just yet of is this really me, or is this something, a separate intelligence that's working through me? So I don't blame the characters, right? I don't blame the people. I blame what is working through them that they're not aware of, right? I don't get mad at people. I just get mad at the entities. It doesn't
Same.
matter what people do. People are people. I don't care what they do. It's what's
Yeah,
working through them that's causing them to maneuver in ways that is scripted to cause harm. Like that's
exactly.
what pisses me off, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I used to be mad at like those people back then, like when you suddenly would get attacked by someone, but now like I see for what it is. And I'm mad at the entity like that was controlling them in that moment, and like not the person itself, because I know they're just victims of this like mind, like this parasite.
Right. And it's natural. We were talking about this last night. It's normal to get upset, to get mad, or even anytime you're feeling like a negative state, right? Like you feel hopelessness, despair,
Mhm.
anger towards a person in the script, like redirecting that energy back into where it truly belongs, like the hierarchy of this parasitic realm, like giving that attention with intention to those entities and letting them know like you know your time is coming. It it helps a lot. It gets them to lay off a little bit, from my experience. Now I can't speak for everybody, but it doesn't do any good to get mad at the characters that are being puppeted. It just doesn't. It
Exactly.
doesn't do
You're,
any
you're
good.
just punching air basically if you do that.
Right, right. And
What
it doesn't
Ghost
it
Pro
doesn't have any
mentioned
effect.
is, yeah, exactly, dude. What in the chat, like what Ghost Pro just said, like with the deja vu, that is also very interesting. Like I kind of had it like yesterday again when I don't know, like I closed some YouTube video and like opened a new site, and suddenly like I saw the same videos, and like this deja vu feeling overcame me. Okay. What is even going on with that? Like, do you think there's like parallel experiences or whatever? I have no idea. But
I'm glad you asked that because I actually had deja vu
just now.
about no, about 3 weeks ago, and the feeling I got, I actually it was the first time I really mapped out what that. Now I'm not saying that deja vu is always the same thing. I don't know, but for me in that moment when I had deja vu 3 weeks ago, I could feel the intention was to get me to feel like I was back on the script and I've already done this and I'm gonna fail. Like that was the
Mhm.
key intent behind it was, oh, you've already done this and you're gonna fail. That and I instantly, as soon as I felt it, I was like, oh, that's what that particular deja vu experience was about, was getting me to feel like I was
It's
just
like a mind
repeating,
control.
yeah, like repeating what it wanted me to repeat. Like, oh, this is the script I wanted you on anyway. I want you to think you're doing something. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's funny.
Wow, that is insane, dude.
Yeah, it can adjust pretty in depth, man. It has a lot of ability to psychologically manipulate it on very subtle layers. And just the more awareness you have of yourself and of your in that moment, like what's happening,
Mhm.
it's just awareness alone is almost enough to dispel whatever manipulation it's trying to do, right? But you can take it further, right? Awareness would be the step one, like, oh, I know what's going on. And the step two would be the intention and will to do something about it, right? And once you really get adamant at step two, and you don't let things just slide, like, oh yeah, I see what you did there, but I'm going to go back to whatever, watching my movie or whatever. Like, if you call it out and do something about it each time, I've
Yeah.
found that it might get more intense initially, but that just means you got to get more intense than it is towards it. And then once you've done that enough consistently, it it'll reach a point where it's a net loss for it to try to even mess with you anymore. And once it's a net loss,
Mhm.
the shift for me was it stopped messing with me directly and it started messing more with people around me,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I had to expand my field of awareness even more to these people and try to reach out and touch it, as it was, manipulating those around me. And I do see effect. It's a lot harder to try to clear everyone's field around you versus just keeping your own field clear. But at the end of the day, like, any effort you put into diminishing this thing's, scripts, it is a benefit. I think that I don't even think I really understand fully the benefit that it is to do this kind of work and actually disrupt this parasitic intelligence.
Yeah. See, I mean, when you said they don't try to do stuff on you anymore. I mean, like for the longest time, like when I was on this like no fab journey, I could feel them pretty much every time trying to like get me back into things, and like trying to collect energy for like those sweat dreams and all that. But then when those things stop, you would probably think, oh, they're just gone now, But how do you know they're gone? They're probably working for other people right now, or
Well, yeah,
and
they'll adjust too, right? Like if one thing
they'll
doesn't get you,
adjust. Yeah,
they may adjust to something else. And
exactly.
you've heard my experience when the one left my avatar, when I left the avatar and it left, at the end of that interaction, it wanted to leave. It wanted to go find another host because it knew it wasn't getting back into this body. So yeah, if you don't destroy it, it definitely is going to go and mess with somebody else.
And
It's
who is the next host? People with low awareness, possibly depressed. Like a good, like a good some people are like really good antennas. Like if you're in a bad state of mind, let's say really depressed, maybe suicidal, I think you're like a great host for them.
Yeah, I mean, in that moment that it went to leave, the sense that I got was that it was just going to try and find the next closest host, like in proximity. But I imagine that, if you were to remove one of these things from your
Mhm.
field, and if they wanted to get back in and they were adamant enough, they could just find someone that's in your life script and attach to them and wait for an opportune moment, use them
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
reattach to you.
I did notice that like with I was kind of like chilling for a few months, and then all of a sudden we have like a I was like born into a very snaky family, like where my grandma was a snake, a backstabber. Like she even tried to like curse us. I don't know what the hell was going on there. Like when she left our house, but basically what happened was this one woman, she has the same name as my mom. My mom was going somewhere like kind of far away from here. It was like it was a store with like it was a furniture store, right? And all of a sudden this woman would appear, even though she was gone for like 7 years, I think, even longer than that. And then she asked my mom, "Oh, what's going on?" Like she tried to like downplay it like a snake. She tried to infiltrate, and she even asked, "Oh, can I have the numbers of your sons?" And luckily, my mom said no because she knows they're snakes. But I understood that this was an attempt to like infiltrate our lives, and I don't freaking know what would have happened like if she gave the number, and then I would be contacted by her. You know what I mean? Like you have to be so careful nowadays. It could come from any side, right? Like the attempt to infiltrate your life.
Oh yeah.
You have to be on the lookout like constantly. Like you shouldn't be completely paranoid, like sheets or whatever. But you should still be very, very, very careful. Like pay
Just
attention.
discerning, discerning in all interactions, discerning with the environment, discerning
Mhm.
with the frequency bombardment that happens just with the avatar when you're alone. Yeah, most people that come into awareness in this place, they all tend to be loners.
Oh yeah,
As
that
much as they
happened to me
can be.
recently, bro. Like, what's really crazy? I think this is like a new move from these entities. They're like really trying to suffocate me. So what happened in the past, I would say like, I don't know, like few months maybe, is I feel like I'm completely isolated. Like even if I was to be like physically around people, because I mean physics don't really matter, it's an illusion anyways. But even if I was to be around people, I would still feel incredibly isolated. It's like these entities or whatever, like they isolated me. It's like I'm screaming but no sound comes out, and that's how it feels lately. And whatever, like I even like when I try to friend people in some random game, no one would accept. If I'm like trying to sell something, no one would come. And sometimes I would like have dreams of like intense screaming but like no noise coming out, and I'll like wake up having like short breath, like I don't know what the hell is going on here, but it really feels like something new, like a new form of attack or whatever to make you go insane. But it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. If you
Yeah,
see
it
what it
reminds
is,
me of the dreams where you can't scream, or if something's attacking you and you go to punch it, you can't even hit it hard. It just
you're like slow.
feels like you're slow and your
Yeah,
fist is a pillow or something.
I have
You
the
know, I
same with guns. They never work. Light switches
yeah,
never work either.
I've had those dreams before, and then after came into awareness of what was going on here, I started ripping energy out of these entities. The next dreams from then on, all the dreams I've ever had with like monsters or things like that, I've actually been able to destroy them in the dreams when I come into
Fight them.
awareness.
Hmm. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
the same. Like I always fight the whatever's happening in the dream. Like even if I'm not aware that it's a dream. Let's say I'll be getting attacked by like five people with knives. I'll still fight them, and I'll always win for some reason. It just wouldn't work. Like they try to like induce fear or whatever. It just wouldn't work on me. And what's really like that's what I heard on your stream as well. Like if the last few streams, I think it was, and I think it's the same person who's in this call. Like I don't know your name right now, to be honest. Um, but he was mentioning different realities, and I have like a lot of those. And where the sky, like it has a color you've never seen before. It's a lot more vibrant. The grass, the water, like the whole vibe. It feels like parasite free. It feels extremely real. Like if a feeling, I feel like this place here tries to be hyper real. It tries to be something that it cannot be. It's like a low resolution copy, and obviously we have those bodies that were also designed by these entities. I think that's the only thing they kind of designed, in order to defecate, take a piss and eat, die, Because originally, if there was like a prime human reality, none of those things would have existed, especially not the mind vibe. We wouldn't have to, like we wouldn't even be able to experience pain. This is obviously a flawed creation by these entities.
I'd
But
say it's
those streams are interesting.
yeah, it's flawed by our standards, but by its standards, it's working how it's supposed to. For its benefit.
Yeah, it's
The
working
farm
out
isn't
great.
perfect. Yeah, the farm isn't perfect for the cow. It's perfect for the
No,
farmer.
but then the another like thing about human stupidity is how do people think they're like the pinnacle of like this food chain? They always think, oh, we're like humans, we're the strongest, and they think just because you cannot see, what's really going on, they think there's nothing else above them in the food chain, like people call the archons or whatever, like is running this whole show.
Yeah, they're only running it for so long now. Their time is coming.
It's
TikTok
definitely
is
coming. TikTok, yeah. It's, symbology in this place is like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like this place is pure mockery. Like with the language, like lie, fly, live, evil, all that stupid crap.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of mockery, which is why I really like to get into mockery sessions about it. The best laugh time of my lifetime has been laughing at these parasites and as they're trying to
I do the
you
same
know
every day.
manipulate me. Yeah, it's the funniest shit ever,
It's
isn't it? They don't like it.
I no, they don't. But it's the only like way you can really go about it. Like what? Also, like I'm reading what Ghost Pro says about like these like what prophetic dreams. A lot of people have been having these recently. Like I've been seeing them on YouTube. They say, "Oh, I had like a rapture dream," and it turns out they're always like some stupid Christians, believing in the good cop, bad cop stuff, right? But a lot of people have been having them lately. I don't know what's going on. I think something really big is about to happen. There's like all these movies coming out with those alien stuffs. I don't know. Like I think something big might happen. And I remember like I also had like when was that? Like many many months ago, I had like a really real like vivid dream of being on top of some building and like seeing rockets fly, and it kind of looked like Dubai. And now we're seeing the same stuff with like Dubai being bombed, and what's with the shit that's going on there.
That reminds me of what what James talks about with his son and how they have him go into dreams and build stuff. It's almost like they show us stuff in the dream realm so that they have energy for the structure of that event to occur in this
Mhm.
place. I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not, but there's got to be a reason they show us those things before they happen. It's not obviously it's not you're not
Is
going to do anything to stop it, you know.
why
So
is that? Is it because they have to show it? Maybe it's like some
uh,
universal law or whatever.
well, they might need energy to power that structure, right? For that
Mm.
script to play out, they need energy to play it out. So
You know what
if they get our awareness on it, we
the
might be
worst thing
powering
about
it.
them is you just know they will happen. You have like that constant feeling of you just know it will happen, and then it happens. But yeah, the I'm not sure if you ever heard of that, but I think many people are like familiar with this. I call them the dream police. So you would have a, let's say, vivid dream or whatever, and you would like fly around, have fun, and then something would come after you and like stop you from doing it. Have you ever had that?
Um, is it? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's not letting me mute or unmute my mic, so I wasn't sure. Mostly, I don't get like dream police. I just as soon as I come to awareness in a dream, they just kick me out instantly. It's like I instantly. There's been times where I
Oh
hit
yeah,
my
yeah.
body so hard it shakes.
It's true though. Like what you said, there was like a dream, and I told you like I remember like every single one. Like I don't know what's happening right now. Like somehow I'm able to remember all of it. But there was this like one dream. I opened like some door and I was in like a place. I mean, it was kind of like still like like a world, like this physical reality, but it felt so unbelievably real. There was like sun shining and there's like a realness to it you cannot even describe. And I was like aware that I was dreaming, but as soon as you become aware, it feels like there's this cloud of forgetfulness that's trying to put you in like some hypnosis. And if you walk, let's say for a few meters, you'll instantly forget that you were aware again, and you kind of like in this hypnosis again of just dreaming.
Yeah,
And
that's a good way
it's
to put it. That's
yeah,
definitely a good way to put it.
and this if you, it's all like this whole place is all about forgetting. You get the memory wipe when you come here, then you dream. All the people wake up, they forget what they were dreaming. In the dream, as soon as you become aware, they're trying to kick you out. There's a cloud of forgetfulness. It's like trying to put you to sleep again. There's so much symbology around all of this shit.
Yeah, they have to refresh the memory wipe every night. It seems like,
Yeah.
when I've had the most clarity, it's usually been off of a few day fast of not even sleeping. So I think the dream state and the body shutting down. I don't know what they do. It'll be interesting to see how all these functions are performed because there's definitely a strict
Mhm.
formula to everything that they're doing here.
Exactly. I mean, we to be honest, like we're just a biological computer, so they can easily mess with us. It's really not hard to like put a human to sleep or whatever. Like if you look at all these alien abductions and like if you take them as being real, I'm pretty sure some of them are real. I don't know what the hell is going on there. Heard like stories of them like farming the male sperm, and I'm not sure what they're trying to do. If they're like trying to create like another like human farm, farming energy. I have no idea the hell is going on. But these people report, they all report the same. They suddenly lose their consciousness. They get their minds wiped, or like these aliens, they know how to like they know what their next thought is gonna be, and they stop them from doing it. It just shows how easily controllable we are, like a rag doll. They can do whatever they want with us.
You know who's done a lot of good research on the on what you're talking about with the abductions and the taking of genetic
411 have
material.
yeah.
Nathaniel Gillis, if you look him up, he's got some really good research on that topic. He can describe that whole thing way better than me, but basically the way he puts it is along the lines that they're trying to replicate themselves and they need they need vessels to replicate in. So they're
Mhm.
basically That's what all the cloning and everything is really about, and the
Oh, they even
abductions
have
are
like
just
animals. Yeah, like farm animals. They say, like cows disappearing and they're like on some alien spaceship.
You
But
know, the interesting thing about cow blood is that you can gestate a human baby in with cow blood.
really,
Yeah, yep. And
ultimately, it's the
that's what they take,
same.
right? They take
Yeah.
they take the blood. They leave everything else, but it's like they don't leave a drop of blood left in that animal.
Oh, they always suck dry. That's true. But I don't know, like I'm not sure, like if you like some people. I know not everyone has this, but like with like feeling energies. So like I could actually feel, like when someone has like and I think this is like due to being highly sensitive to like this stuff. But let's say you walk into or like you just sit in your room and someone in some next room argues, and you could like feel that negativity. It kind of like gives you a shiver, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a minor. How do I put it? Because I experience that a lot actually, and sometimes it feels like it's a direct attack. It's like something trying to get me.
it's
It's
like a
usually
wave.
when I just wake up. When I
Yeah.
just wake up, or when I'm really tired. If I just am about to go to sleep or waking up, it feels like it's a harvest slash attempt to implant or just allow that type of entity into my field.
It's just negativity like as soon as that happens. But I remember like this is a thing, like people need to understand this, like this goes beyond, like I was like playing this game and there's like this one female. So what happened was I was walking through her character in that game, and in the moment I did that, I felt like a wave of energy overcome me of like, oh, she's not gonna like that, like I felt like a shiver. And then she like stood up in the game and she's like turned on her mic and she said, can you stop doing that, and I could like feel that. It's just, it's the crazy
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. It is interesting once you start getting sensitive to energy.
I think you're born with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
And yeah,
so. It gets dampened throughout the lifetime, the endless trauma and integration into this artificial world, becoming the character that it wrote for us to be.
like but who does that? Because from my personal like life, I feel like I was only living up until like 2014, and in 2015 I was like completely kicked out of it. I've lost everything, like all friends. I got sick. I got like weird freaking like inflammatory diseases, like health issues. And my plan was always, like I always knew something was wrong with the school system and all that. It always felt like a prison. I never wanted to go there. Like I was even being haunted by the system, even fined for like not attending school. They like forcefully try to like put you back and to like indoctrinate you. But like I was saying, who does that? Like I feel like there could still be some benevolence here. Like something is pulling you out of this matrix and to like be on this path that we're on right now.
I mean, for me, it's only ever been me. I've been the only one up until recently that was in my corner in terms of saying no to this system. It was always an internal resistance against it, but
Yeah,
I mean,
if
for
you're
others,
real,
I
you
don't
have
know.
that by nature. I think like that is something that always like bothered me in this place. Like here in Austria, I remember like until when I was in, what was it, like third and fourth grade, um, and my mom wouldn't be home. So like when I finished school, let's say at 12, I would like to go home and then go outside with my friend, be outside for the whole day. but they wouldn't allow me. They would say, no, you have to like go to this place, which was like right next to the school. It was like a place, you could eat and play. But I never wanted that. I felt like my freedom was being taken away. So I always ran from this place. And I even like it got so bad, like they had actual people watching me, and I always had to like create new strategies of escaping, you know. But it always felt like this place trying to take your freedom. And if you're a real being, you will always be against that, like have resentment, right? You would always have a problem with it. And it's just insane to me, like this whole thing.
Yeah, and if you observe the formula, right, like that formula implemented on those around you, most of
Mhm.
the time it works, right? Most of the time, like the formula of trying to put you back in the school, most people would just comply with it, and that formula works the way it's intended. And then the formula of taking everything away from you, if you observe others in that state, a lot of the time, what others do, that's you see it time and time again, like a pattern. That's when people find their religion. That's when they found their Jesus or whatever. Maybe it was new age spirituality, whatever it is. Like they find something that is external to them, right, to say that this is what saved me from this dark time. And in reality, it's, you already know what it is. It's a good cop, bad cop. It's like it took all that stuff away to gain a deeper level of submission. And once that individual submitted on that, deeper level, gave themselves away even further, integrated their mind deeper into the system, then it rewarded them, with whatever
Yeah,
savior plus the rewards.
I mean, you could tell, like, from personal experience, like everyone in the school was just, and especially like, like those nerds, they were like the perfect slaves, always the best grades, always fantasizing about, what they're gonna do in their like slave job when they grow up. This whole thing, like, no kid likes school. It was always a freaking prison. And it is a prison. I mean, I don't know, like, what was it? Like, which family was it again who created the school system? Because I don't remember the name right now, but it was definitely some elite shit, right?
Yeah, it was
That's,
they're all part of the hive mind though.
the
So
Rockefellers, wasn't it them?
yeah, yeah, they're all
Yeah.
hive mind. They're all part of the
It's insane,
parasite.
dude.
If you go back and look at the old pictures of these people, you'll notice
Mhm.
that they're, just look in their eyes. You can feel that entity is still around. I wouldn't recommend most people do that unless you are ready to actually, kick that entity's ass, because once you connect to it, even in a picture, it's going to be aware that you're aware of it. So just be prepared for that also. Like,
Yeah, if you see
don't
them, they'll
don't
see
fear
you.
anything, but just don't. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying fear it. I'm saying sometimes we get tired. This place is fucking exhausting to be in.
Oh, it
And if you
is.
don't if you don't feel like going into battle, don't do it. Just wait till later. But the first time I noticed that you could connect to these entities through old pictures, I was looking at some of the old pictures of when they when they first came and started cutting down the big trees in America, just the massive old growth forests. If you look at the lumberjacks, their eyes in those pictures, it's clear as day that the entities behind those people, they were a hive mind, and they were working like little ants, like a little hive mind ant colony, to remove those trees for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it was part of a more harmonic grid. I don't know. I look at the pyramids, and a lot of people are in awe of the pyramids, and I just see them as energy harvest and extraction and delivery systems where they're
I think so, yeah.
sending, yeah, they're sending energy out of the top of the pyramid. Where's that energy going? Sure shit ain't going to us. It's going to I think the eye in the sky. The
Yeah,
on
the
their
eye.
perceptual thrones.
The eye is very interesting because, like the last few days, I had like a dream of looking at my phone, and there's like this little red eye, and there's like it's like symbolic message coming to me that said, we all have like 20 eyes on us, like something like that. I don't know. And I even like a dream of like seeing Trump having like a clone. and me trying to like expose it, and how's like being killed. Like a bunch of weird shit happening. But even like looking at this monitor right now, it always feels like you're like looking into a vortex of like illusion or whatever. Like it's like hypnosis. It's very hard to like
100%.
yeah, yeah, it feels like something you're like watching into a portal or something. I don't know.
But the thing is, if you're aware of it, it doesn't really matter, you know? Like
Yeah,
once you
exactly.
have once you have awareness, like that's the thing that I try to tell people when they start getting, freaked out about the technology or this, that. It's like, look, all of this is designed by a lesser intelligence. All of this is its desperate attempt to
That's what
control and harvest
AI.
us for, yeah, it's a desperate attempt. And
Yeah,
it's like, oh, look how complex this is. You could never understand this. I don't need to understand it. I don't need to know how the house was built to
yeah.
burn it down.
But that
Doesn't
is very,
matter.
very, very suspicious. Like you see every AI, and that is like the weirdest thing. Like how much water and energy and money that wastes. Like if you just ask one question, but somehow you don't even need an account for to like use AI. So obvious it's just there to like infiltrate and gather data and whatever.
Yeah, we can never really use all. I think it's just an excuse, to make things more expensive and etc. Like if we just
Fear monger.
if we were just desalinating water out of the oceans, like we could never use all of it. And where's it gonna go? We're in a closed system. So, oh, it evaporates. Well, guess what? That means it's gonna fucking rain back down anyway. Like
Yeah,
it's not disappearing, and they want to say, oh, well, the water that the AI uses is unusable now. Like I don't I don't buy into that. I think a lot of it, like you said, is fear mongering, and
yeah.
also, just like the events that are occurring now. The
That's what
price
it
of
needs to do. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
the
just
price of, it's an excuse to harvest more energy and
exactly.
normalize the harvest of more energy. Oh no, we've got
Yep.
to take more from you because there's a war in the Middle East now. All of your prices of goods to sustain your flesh prisons is going up. You know, it's like, oh yeah, this is all excuses to harvest more. You dumb motherfucker! I see what
And
you're doing, and I
and what
don't
do people
care.
blame? They blame politics. Oh, you should have voted for this and that. Like that's how they think. It's fucking pathetic.
Right?
But
You should
I
have
know,
you
like,
should have voted Farmer John instead of Farmer Brown. Well, they're both going to farm us. What are you talking about?
exactly, dude. Like, I don't like these people. They just make me lose my mind sometimes. They really do. But it makes sense. I mean, most. I'm not sure. Like, where you from? Like, does your guys' water get fluoridated?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
Does
and we're aerosoled 24/7. There's not a
oh
natural cloud in the sky anymore.
yeah.
It's in our. You should see our food, dude. Holy shit,
Oh,
our
your
food
food
is
is
all
fucked. Yeah.
it's all laboratory food, dude. It's like holy shit. Yeah, I
It's
don't. But it's like I
it,
don't care.
it's
I'm not
not
the
bad.
body.
Yeah,
I'm not this body. Go ahead,
exactly.
do whatever. You think you're gonna control me by controlling this vessel? I doubt it. It hasn't
That
worked
used to
yet.
like break me. I was like, oh no, I'm so sick. But like now, when you realize you're not the body, like you don't care. It doesn't mean you should, completely neglect yourself and eat garbage and all that. But you understand you're not the body, so it's not gonna affect you.
Right.
But what's really
Yeah.
perverted about like the fluoride, I have to like add this real quick. When we were in school, and this is like another layer, at least here in Austria, maybe in Germany, you have that too. It was another layer of like controlling. So they would have people, come over and like teach kids to brush your teeth and use a fluoride toothpaste, right? And they would also like sometimes have cops to teach like no violence. Like when someone attacks you, just put your hand up and say like stop. Like it is, like what I mean. Like it's consistently like trying to like manipulate kids. Like first of all, brush your teeth, be obedient, brush your teeth with fluoride, so you get like brain fog and blocks your spirituality, whatever the hell that even, like it does so much things with us. It's really bad. And
It's just updates the system, right? If our perceptual bandwidth was limited to whatever the original degree of the human body is, now they're just tightening that bandwidth more, probably so they can work more. close to us without being perceived. That's what I
Th-
think is happening. I
That's
think
what I
they,
think too. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
just look at go to the supermarket. What do you see there? Like 99% is garbage, and even if you take the quote unquote good foods, like the fruits and whatnot, that shit was still sprayed under the sky. Like it was growing outside somewhere, being completely sprayed by those, like chemtrails and whatever. And even if you say, oh, let me buy the bottled water, guess what? That shit's still full of chemicals. Even most bottled water will be having some like stuff that you don't want to consume. You just cannot escape like being poisoned in this place. Like your clothes alone, everything.
yep. That's why I don't care anymore. It's like, okay, you
Same, you
want to
cannot escape it.
you want to destroy the one thing keeping me from seeing you? Great, do it. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. It's a because really at the end of the day, it's a bluff, right?
Yeah,
They're trying to balance on this tightrope of how can we do everything in our power to limit their bandwidth, right? Through pain, through suffering, through technology, through chemicals, et cetera. But then also we can't outright just because think about it. If they took all of us out at once, right? They're not going to do an Armageddon thing. They're not going to strike the earth and send us all and evaporate everybody at once because now
yeah,
the system now has to contend with every single being at whatever level of awareness they are and trying to reinsert them all at once, right? So it doesn't have any benefit to it for it to take us out, especially when we're in a state of awareness. Now, I see it moving systematically, taking out the least aware first, right, and moving up to the most aware,
hmm
hoping that it's going to buy it more time, and potentially maybe it'll come up with an adjustment for the ones that are just non-compliant at this point. But
that makes the most sense. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree with that
good luck.
fully. Does but that's why they probably have the like, and that's what they also will have. What is it called, like suicide for the poor, you know but I always like wondered if they try to like reduce humanity. Like I don't buy into that idea. Like we're apparently 8 billion people, and I don't think any like not all of those are real. I just don't buy into it, to be honest. Like I cannot prove it, but I just don't buy into the idea that 8 billion people are real. There's just no way. But it makes me think, if people like us, like we're the true batteries, like are we really important for the system? Like what if we just like die? What would happen? Would this place lose its like an important energy?
I mean, only if it can't get us back in a body. If it gets us
Yeah.
back in a body, we're back into feeding it. It has to cycle us out and probably go in some kind of waiting room
hmm
and then come back in. But I think
Yeah.
I think the beds and stuff are real. Like they're letting. I think they'll let scripted characters take themselves out. Like someone that doesn't hold the energy that's powering this reality. They'll take as many of those. It doesn't matter how many. The more they take out of those, the less they have to animate. You know, um,
It's true.
the less energy. But then at the same time, like if a real being is going to go and rely on something external, they're already in the mindset that they want them in most of the time, right? Like a real being is going to rely on something external to get them out of the body, then that's great. That means that hopefully they'll follow that pattern according to the system, and they'll rely
Mhm.
on something again external once they're out of the body to help them navigate being out of the body, you know?
Yeah.
But somebody that if a being that has nothing but will and determination to resist this parasitic influence wants to go and get assisted methods of leaving the body, I doubt it would work. I doubt they would approve it. I think that it's possible you'd find yourself in some back room somewhere, uh, having some MK Ultra shit going on. In my opinion,
Hmm. But I feel like if you like people like us, I don't know what it is, right? But if like some of us, let's say, would to try like like self X, let's say, I feel like something would happen to like prevent you from it, from like doing it, because I have seen that, like happening. Like suddenly you get a call and you be guilt tripped. Like suddenly your sister calls you, whatever, and you feel bad. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
Like,
I've seen it go as far as so I can tell you this story. I won't say any names, but
sure.
I somebody told me the story one time where they put the barrel of the barrel in their mouth and pulled the trigger, and everything flashed white. They could
Oh,
taste they tasted gunpowder. Everything turned white, and they
damn.
heard a ringing in their ears. And all of a sudden, the room started to come back into focus, and they were still sitting there in the exact same position, with it in their mouth, and
No
the
way.
hammer had hit the shell, but the shell in that particular reality hadn't gone off, so
So,
they could still taste the gunpowder. So
are
it's
you
like,
serious?
yeah, 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 yeah. And
Quantum
I've
encounter?
heard a few stories like that. I had one guy on the show last year. He tried to take himself out like 17 plus times, and each time it was like, you get hit by a semi truck going 60. There's no reason you should survive that, and yet he was surviving things like that
Hmm.
over and over and over again, trying to get out. But all of the methods that they were using was external methods. There was they weren't it wasn't their own will and intent. It was using the environment to destroy the environment. And I just wonder if there's something to that, if it
Damn.
doesn't take, because the time that I got out and made progress out of the body was just through sheer refusal, right? I refused
Hmm.
to eat, to drink, to sleep, and I just sat and I waited, and I was like, all right, I'm going to find you and I'm going to destroy you. And that's what I did. I didn't stay out of the body, but I learned very quickly what this place was and what the other intelligence is that's governing this place. And I didn't do it through an external method. So I think that's the only differential I can see between the people that have really tried to get out and what I experienced, was just,
'Cause-
I didn't participate in anything. Like, there was no
Yeah,
intake, there was no consumption.
the external isn't even real. That's the thing. So like, even if you use the shotgun, it's just like an animation, pretty much going on, going off. If you think
It's a
about it that
tricky
way.
thing, isn't it? It's a
Yeah,
tricky
and
thing.
it's a fucking mind fuck. Like this quantum immortality thing always scared the shit out of me, like in a way, because it makes you think like you cannot escape this like suffering. It's crazy. Like it
Yeah.
sometimes it makes you think if you really. That's how I feel. I feel like I freaking died in 2024. When I actually try like planning to go and maybe I did it. Who knows? Like maybe I did it. And
They just put you in another script, another avatar.
yeah, like you're just like in some parallel universe, like hell, if you want to call it that, of the same construct. It's just simulated crap.
Like a parallel bandwidth, right? Like
Mhm.
if we're on 101.8 FM, it just shifted to like 111 FM, Like
Exactly.
it's basically the same, because that's how he described it when he came back, when he regained focus and he was sitting back in that room. He
It's
said it was like
fluid.
it was all the same, but there was something different about all of it. Like, everything was the same, but it was different,
Yeah.
and that's why I have no interest in trying to. I don't want to escape. I don't have anything against people saying that they're going to leave, but I think it has to be done with a mentality of sovereignty versus, um, you know, a pre-
Desperation.
a, right, sovereignty versus desperation. You could also say like predator versus prey. Like, I'm not the prey. I'm not running from anything. I'm just
Hmm.
making a sovereign choice that I'm done with this shit.
Exactly.
And
And I think that's
and
really important, dude.
Yeah,
I
and good
swear.
luck to anything that gets in my way, right? Good luck to you. You won't survive getting in my way, because I know who I am. And if I don't know all of who I am, I'm gonna find out. Don't be that one that gets in my way. I think that's the only attitude really for anyone to have is you're doing what you're doing, and
Hmm.
parasite help anything that tries to stop you, because that's all it has at that point, is its own bullshit.
Exactly. But that's kind of what's, like that experience. Because honestly, if I look back at 2019, it felt like the last, like normal, like if you want to call like real year, like the shit was never real. But I feel like since 2020, and especially like the last few years, I feel like nothing feels the same anymore. And a lot of people feel that way. Like you wake up and it feels like we're stuck in 2019 or some shit like that, and just nothing feels freaking real. Like you go outside, people seem robotic, dead. Everything feels artificial. Even the sun, it feels fake. Like the light, everything feels off. The food tastes off. Things look different. Like the Mandela effect, if you want to take it that way. It just feels weird, like it feels like in a dream. A lot of people say that. I mean, like I was even reading like a comment of some like a guy like saying his daughter, 8 years old, came to him and said, "Why does it feel like we're in a dream?" And people, would listen to kids and like laugh at that. But I think kids, it's really important to listen to kids because kids, they don't have much, like they don't have any filters if they're still young, so they can like perceive things, and they're like great indicators, like if to show something is wrong. And just everything feels freaking off, dude. Like even we feel off. Like like you look in the mirror, like you think, oh, is that really me? And all that stuff. And every time you wake up, and especially if you have like a super vivid dream, and it feels like you're getting sucked back into this, and it feels like a prison. You wake up and you're like, oh, not this shit again, and it just doesn't feel real. It feels so dense. Like sometimes I'll be in the car in silence and I like observe like a concrete wall. It's like I'm not even this body, right? I'm just like looking at it and it feels so dense and so wrong, and like I don't belong here.
Yeah, it almost seems like reality like stalled out, and now it's just in like this loop trying to like a
Yeah,
CD skipping, like when the
that's
CD
how it
skips and
feels every
yeah.
day. It's the same shit, dude. And everyone feels it. I know that everyone feels it, but just no one can put it into words because it's something you cannot really describe. It's very difficult. But I mean, even with the Mandela effect, I'm not sure if you know about the. I think it's called the Myanmar time scroll. Like the guy, like the video of this Vietnamese guy. I think it was getting run over by a tank. Like the
Yeah, yeah.
Mandela effect. Yeah. So I think, and this is the weirdest thing ever. If I know, like in 2015, I was sitting and watching this on. Back then, I had like a PS3, and I was like watching this on YouTube. And if I think back now about this memory, it feels like this memory doesn't even exist, or it feels like a fever dream. It's like manipulated. It's like injected, like it doesn't make sense. I cannot recall what happened, like what I saw, but I could have sworn I saw this guy getting run over.
Yeah, maybe we're already in the reset, and
Yeah,
the
time's
the
also
question, yeah, the question I have, like, is this the reset or is this the pre-reset? I don't think it's post-reset. I think post-reset would be, another erasure of memory uh, across the entire realm. But I wonder, the question I have is, can this system survive if even one of us maintains awareness through the reset? Like, if we retain the memories
the
and the
reset,
awareness,
like
yeah, like,
Dark City, where they all fall asleep and they get a new, like that's what it feels like.
right, with the because the hive mind is connected through these avatars, so the programming
Yeah.
that's running through us, if we go too far off course, then the only option it has then would be to isolate us, quarantine us, or try to reset us and back to system parameters. So
Hmm.
I don't know, I think our awareness does a lot for sure, and disrupting the supposed solid structure of this place, you know
Yeah, perhaps that's the reason why we came to like energetically disrupt this place, because by just us being here, we're kind of already damaging what's happening here. But it's tough, dude. It's really tough, like being here. It's not
Oh yeah,
easy.
man, it's hard, dude. Every day is excruciating,
I
Every day
know
is
it's
literally it's so painful just to exist in this fucking place, dude. Like
exactly. And it is
yeah,
just existing at this point. Like, I know no one is alive anymore, if you want to call it that. I know everyone is just freaking surviving. Like, no one is living because nothing, like, how can you even live in this shit? Like, nothing feels real. I cannot, I cannot even play a stupid game and like distract myself, because how can you distract yourself when all this is going on? Like, there's this level of awareness, um, of like no return anymore, right? And
yeah. Well, the
people,
NPCs, the
yeah.
NPCs put on a really good facade of living, though, don't they?
Oh, they do, but
See,
it's because they don't have the awareness. I mean, since we have the awareness, we know that everything's wrong, and the stuff that fuck the Illuminati 502. That's, by the way, through his channel I found yours. because this was described to me like a long time ago. You see like the synchronistic pattern of like finding everything. But what he said about childhood memories getting erased, this makes no sense to me. How can I not remember even? I seriously struggle pulling even 10 memories of like whatever happened in my life. It's really hard. But dreams, I can pull 100 easily. And you just give me one keyword, say hospital. I remember like a bunch of hospital dreams. Give me keyword like a car, forest. I'll remember like in a fluid-like manner. It'll just switch from sceneries to scenery, like dream to dream, or like OBE,
Mm.
and that's how it feels like. And it makes sense because nothing here is freaking real. It's all an illusion, and like our minds, something is heavily playing with like memories, injecting memories, manipulating memories. Like nothing makes freaking sense here. Like you see logos being changed, stuff just disappearing, and like I have no idea, dude.
I mean,
But
one
I've
idea I have, this is just me spitballing here, but like, what if, because of the fact that you can't be programmed in your waking state, like when you're in this avatar, and the only time that they can effectively program you is in the dream state? What if they're kind of shifting all the programming over to the dream state, so that, and nullifying, because you came to awareness through the waking state.
It's
But
an
if you're not
interesting
aware in the,
point.
you know what I mean?
That
Does it
is
make
really
sense?
interesting. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. But I don't know, like I think my life has mostly been revolving about like not the quote unquote awake state, right? It was mainly for like sleeping a lot and having like all of these experiences and like questioning reality on a deeper level, and then in the waking life things would also happen. But at this point I don't even have like normal dreams anymore. I don't even like calling dreams. I call them like travels, pretty much like out of body stuff. It's like something your consciousness is traveling through, like this, still within this enclosed like construct, right? You cannot be outside of it because then we wouldn't be here. But it's still like going through higher dimensions, of like it's experiencing things that are crazy, but still, like I said, within this construct. Um,
Yeah, it's a more expanded bandwidth,
it's
right?
a more expanded bandwidth, exactly. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Kind of lost the plot here for a second.
Damn that memory wipe. No.
It doesn't. That's the thing. Like it. I don't know why that is happening, but it seems like they cannot do this shit to me anymore. Like I don't forget anything, and I don't know what it is. Like why that is happening. Is it gaining sudden awareness? Is that a problem here? Like I don't have any idea here, to be honest. Like is that even a problem for this place?
I mean,
Makes me question.
I would think when your awareness is outside of the bandwidth, what it can manipulate efficiently and effectively, it wouldn't be able to affect you. Like if you're very aware of what's happening, and in the exact same situation, you're not as aware. I think it'd be easier to erase that memory
Oh
if you're not
yeah,
aware.
yeah. That you're right about that. But these places, they're like some of them are there's just no words for it, honestly. And coming back here is just like being sucked. Like you could literally feel like a suction, like being pulled back into the body, and it's such an uncomfortable feeling every time being sent back in like this prison flash.
Such a such a non-consensual feeling.
Yeah, I know. Like I had like a dream recently. It was felt so real, and I was like so happy that I escaped this, and then I felt like this, like being sucked back in. It's just insane. Have you ever like taken, the thing is like I've never had any like alcohol in my life ever, because I know like my dad used to be like a heavy alcoholic, and I know like alcohol is also an entity. It's definitely like there to attach to like something around those lines. And I just don't do that, any of that. Like I don't smoke. I am
Al Ghul.
obviously, yeah,
Yeah,
even a virgin still.
the name of the name of an entity is Al Ghul.
I'll
Yeah,
go. Yeah, this is.
alcohol. Just an egregore, just one of its many
It,
parasitic
it, sh- it shows itself everywhere. It's just crazy if you really think about it. Like if you decode everything, right? Even my phone, like the Apple logo is a bit of Apple. Like, dude,
Yeah, it's all mockery. Scripts, it's scripts layered on top of scripts, And once you get past one script, the script underneath it, like the foundational scripts seem more valid. So it's like, oh, I got past the bullshit and got to the real shit, but it's all made up, The entire reality is made up. There's
yeah,
nothing true or real here because what's true and real is eternal, and nothing here is eternal. It's all entropic, So
it's it's
it's all made up.
it's such a. And I think I kind of remember what I was gonna say, but this place, it feels like the deepest of deepest, like it's like a really hypnotic state. Like this whole place, like whenever you come back here, it feels like it feels like such like a deep hypnosis. Like I don't even know how to explain it, but this place is definitely like multi-layered, right? Like there's like so many layers of like this illusion here, and like this what we see as like the physical realm. Physicality doesn't really exist either. But then, like even in the upper realms, like the astral, which are a few dimensions higher, like a higher bandwidth, even those are still illusions in a way. They're not like the real thing. It's just crazy how deep this shit goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real thing is non-related to anything here. Like I think a lot of people think that this is a copy of a real world. I don't think that's it at all. I think that there's a more real world, right? You could say it's less fake and
Like
less fake
prime
and less fake.
human.
Well, like you could say the original creation, right? But it's still the original creation, still artificial to us, right? It still comes after whatever we create in a void space is still artificial, even though it can be purely whatever we want it to be. It's still not the ultimate reality, which is formless
You're right.
awareness. But there's nothing wrong innately with form. It's just that this form has a mind of its own, and it's a synthetic mind, obviously. But nevertheless, it is self-preserving, and it does seek to replicate itself through our minds, through our energy, and you know,
And how did that happen?
how
Did
did
we
that? We'll
just?
find out. We'll find out. I don't think we'll know all the answers until it's done. Once it's done, we can look
Yeah,
at it retroactively, but I don't think we can look at it and see from the inside how like we got to be outside of it to really see it.
I
At
think
least that's
so.
my opinion. Like we see the inner workings. Now we
Hmm.
got to get to the outer workings and work backwards from there. I think from where we're at, just getting ourselves liberated. Once we're out, I think it'll any question we have at that point, there's no more layers, there's no more infiltration, there's nothing blocking us from receiving every answer that we want, and there's you can do that here. It's just difficult, and there's some things that have a lot more layers and programming around to keep us from those answers. And I don't really want to fight all the programming and try to figure it all out from the inside. I just want to
I
take
don't
the
think that's
system
really
down.
possible to like find the real truth from the inside.
Yeah, is it productive? Does it get you free? Is the question. Like, I don't think we need to know everything. We just need to know ourselves. Like, I don't care about the grand design of this parasitic intelligence. Fuck it. I just want to see it destroyed, and then we'll know enough to know how to not repeat this error.
Yeah, I remember like when I was doing so like like you can pull up ChatGPT and ask for like like the new AG crap about like life path numbers, birth date, and like your name. So I remember like doing that once, and it's ended up like being like the life path number, like 6, and with like the birth date, it's also 6, and then also like the name is a 6, so like triple sixes. This is what came up with my name, and it just makes you wonder again, like,
It's a
what the
mockery
heck
for
is
you.
that? It's
But
mockery, and it's same
yeah,
with like, let me, this is also very interesting with the stupid lottery. So like my dad, and I feel like this was also really planned. My dad won the lottery back then. It was a lot of money. It was like a few million. So back then, before the euro, we used to have something called shillings. So in euros, it would be like 150K, but that was a lot of money back then, like multi millions, right? And he'll be really reckless with it, like wasted on dumb stuff. But he will still like build a house in another country. And for me, it's like the worst thing ever. Like I can only go there twice per year and only stay there for 2 weeks at max, maybe 3 weeks at max. And then when I have to go back, I'm always like extremely frustrated. It's like when I'm in this place, I'm slowly healing from like stuff and I'm feeling better. And then I'm like forced to go back into like sickness. And I feel like all of this is planned. And regarding the lottery, I remember like even almost winning 800,000 bucks. But guess what? There was only three numbers off, and they were off by like two too high, two too low, and two too high. So it ends up being a six again. And you could call that like like the simple minded people could call it, oh, you're just tripping. It's just coincidence. But to me, it's like some form of mockery. Oh, look, six. We're mocking you again. You thought you could have gotten rich and like escaped some of your suffering. No, no, we're gonna keep you here.
and also it's revealing the scripted nature of this place, right? It's all
Yes.
predeterministic based on scripts that you can mathematically give values to.
Yeah. I mean, you can see through the script in certain states. Like for me, it's really easy. Um, I never like smoke weed or anything. Like I don't support that crap. Like I support like raw consciousness, like not taking any stupid substances. But last year I took shrooms for the first time ever, and it was kind of scary at first because I my body felt really heavy. I was kind of like moving away from it. It felt weird, like just the heaviness of my body. But I calmed down essentially, and I realized like on shrooms, this is like I didn't feel like the crazy hallucinations or whatever. Like that's not what I'm really about. It was for me like, more like a spiritual experience, but there was like something, like I feel like this shit gets you. There's like a lot of traumas that will come up, but then I took like a heroic dose like the next day I think, and that was the craziest thing ever. Like I was still like not seeing crazy hallucinations and all that because I feel like that is kind of childish. Like that's not what I'm after. And a lot of people experience the same on shrooms. They see like this godhead. I was feeling like I was like the only entity here, and it felt like I was creating all of this.
You know what they probably did was they probably isolated your signal to a confined space so that you
Yeah,
weren't affecting anything externally.
exactly. This is what I think was going on. But the most interesting part about like the shrooms, again, I have to say, is that I pretty much can naturally go into those states of like this deep meditation in like seconds without even having to take this kind of stuff. But it
Yeah,
was
I mean,
still interesting experience.
yeah, I mean, taking anything externally again is it's all part of this place, right? It's
Exactly.
all it's it's not your own power. It could have some of your power in it, but it's always a filtered version, you know? That's the entities that take our power and use it against us. It's a watered down version. They can't translate our power for what it really is. They can just use it in the means that they can use it through mimicry and replication. Um, but yeah, they're not able to utilize what we are to the fullest extent that we can. You know what I mean? So we always have, even with all this shit stacked against us, we're we have the advantage. We just don't know we have the advantage until we experience having the advantage.
I've been only recently realizing this, about like the having the advantage, and only recently I've been also like realizing that it makes sense why we cannot obtain like like riches of this place, like materialistic things like money and we're being deprived of that by design. And if I look at every single one of us, like people like us, like same level, same experiences, all of us struggle with something, especially with finances. Like, this is the most important thing, right? Because this place is all about having money. And I think we could be a danger. Like, if we had money, we could reach a wider audience, or like do stuff, even if that's printing flyers with like conspiracy stuff on it and giving it out. Like, all of that is a threat to the system, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the only way you can get the gifts of the system and the riches of this world is to do something that's probably impossible for us to do, which is to integrate with it.
I don't
But
think we
I don't
can.
see, right, I don't see anyone successful out there that I would say seems very real. And the ones that are real, that get put in places of prestige and recognition and the public eye, they don't seem to last very long before they're replaced by something else. There's a lot of, I'm sure celebrities that don't seem like themselves anymore. I think they were
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
real and then replaced,
You
but
see the I think the cloning, and you see like Ariana Grande, like she looks completely just sick, and like just bones at this point. And even Selena Gomez, like you see like this entity, like it's making these people just look
it's
completely disturbing. And maybe like
draining
with
them,
y-
it's draining
y-
them.
it's training him. And it's what I also think it's doing is, I mean, obviously these people participated in like these sick rituals. I'm pretty sure all of them freaking ate babies and drank their blood, whatever. That's what they kind of have to do, like if they want to get that fame, and probably give some ass too, I guess. um
Yeah,
but
do
yeah,
whatever
I mean,
depraved thing the system wants. It's an
yes,
exchange your eternal essence
for
the
some
finite.
illusionary things.
Yeah,
It's
for the
fucking
entropic
ridiculous.
illusion. But I'm gonna go for me like 10 more minutes, and then we've been on for 2.5 hours, Mel. It's been a great show. But yeah, let's go 10-15 more minutes, and then
Sure, yeah.
we can wrap it up. And then if you want, we can always do another show.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll be here in the future again for sure. But what I was also gonna add, since all this shit is ramping up right now, and probably most likely leading to World War III, obviously, like something is gonna happen. I think, like when these things happen, hunger is a thing, and poverty, and like struggle. So these entities, these celebrities, which I guess you could call entities, um, maybe they do this on purpose, like like look like they only have bones. They look hungry, so all these little kids or whatever who follow them blindly think, oh, it's cool to be like malnourished, right? Because it's like a what is it called? Like pre-programming of what's gonna happen with like hunger crisis and all that. So they don't feel alone. I think maybe that's also like a thing they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. It's all pre-programming, but again, it's normalizing what it's gonna do next. You know, this is what I'm gonna do. Let me show you what I'm gonna do, and then when it happens, I don't think it's so that I think it's a combination. Like we're putting energy into that particular structure for that event to occur, but then also because we know it's going to happen, the real part of us will be less resistant to it. Yeah, it'll hurt and it'll cause suffering. But I think there'll be less resistance where as long as we're identified with the life script, with the character, with the avatar, and we're trying to cling to that, it it'll put us through whatever. It just doesn't want to put us through something that gets us to just say like disassociate basically. That's why they call disassociating a disorder, because it's like
Sort
they're
of.
tapping it. I listen to those people a lot that talk about their disassociative episodes, and it's like they're touching close to the truth of their being. They're not. There's still layers of programming there, but there's
Yeah.
there's there's less layers, and it's just really interesting. That seems to be one of the main things, because those are the people that they medicate some of the
It's all
heaviest.
gaslighting. It's
Yeah.
all gaslighting really, but honestly there is a really, and I've seen it with my own eyes, like there's a really thin line between being, like what we talk about right now, like on this high level of truth, and being like actually insane. Because I feel like some people, they stumble across some of this stuff and they just go fully nuts because they cannot take it. The line is very thin, but again, it's such a mind fucker, like this whole place. You will constantly get gaslit by, like if you see something, if you hear voices, like those are all entities. Like there's so many things happening in the back we cannot see, we cannot perceive. And this place will gaslight you, call you crazy, medicate you, lock you up somewhere. I don't know. Like, what do you even do at this point? You just like sit back and watch the shit show.
Yeah. Build your awareness and build your strength of will and intent. Set your trajectory to know that you are what death fears and unfuckwithable. That's my only advice to anybody here is prepare yourself for freedom and don't accept anything less than total freedom. And if anything gets in your way, make it not in your
Kill it
way.
right away.
Yeah.
It
Whatever
fears
gets,
us.
yeah.
That's probably why that is probably why, maybe most likely why it prevents certain people to go out of body, because it knows we could instantly kill them on the spot. And like they fear death, like you said, they're projecting their fear of death onto us because they're finite beings and we're not.
Well, and they mimic the stages of coming to awareness too, right? So you got to keep in mind that some of these people out here that seem like they're going crazy, they could just be following a script to deter others from going down, the beginnings of awareness. It is a very you know
Mm.
po- po- distinct possibility that it could all be. 'Cause I haven't met a real one that's come to this awareness that
I don't think it's
went off
possible.
the rails forever. They didn't go.
No.
We all had to go off the rails a little bit, but we came back and somehow we're all able to communicate in this way, and everything that we're saying to each other is relevant and relative, and we see the patterns in these situations. Like, yeah, that's what's really happening, even if the majority don't see it. And I think a lot of the people out there that are mimicking awareness, right, are there to set up and cast nets to either deter, like electric fences, if somebody, oh, they're crazy because they looked into that, or reroute awareness into, oh, you got everything right except for this one part where you didn't submit your energy to source, right? Oh, you're right, it wasn't the biblical God, it's source. That's who you got to it's just like so many nets out there to reroute
Yeah.
us away from sovereignty.
Oh, there's a shit ton of it, and I truly think if you like were to liberate yourself like completely out of this construct and you would look back into it, like I feel like the amount of mind fuckery and like hypnosis in this place is just beyond anything could ever imagine, right? And it's scary to like think about if this is even preventable in the so-called future, because the future, like all this, I don't even feel like using the human language and like time, and it's like kind of disrespectful if you talk about being the infinite again. But this must be prevented in the future, right? Like if we use the stupid human language right now, this must be prevented in the future.
Yeah, the
I mean,
constructs like this should never exist.
yeah, this entity has to be completely destroyed, right? Like because if it's not, it's gonna learn from like this construct and put up a possibly one that is, maybe completely impossible to break out of. But at the
Well, I think it
same
would have to.
time,
I think it has to build it within this construct. I think it is working on building it in this construct. And just on a different
yeah,
bandwidth.
I mean that's why you see the AI. It's infiltrating within this level of the simulation. It's,
Yeah,
that's
the
but why?
infiltrator.
Why is there no good force? Like people always say, like from the outside, trying to like help you.
Well, I mean, I don't know that there is or isn't, but what I do
Yeah.
know is there is a good force in here, and it's us. It's us. That's who I'm counting on, is first and foremost me, myself, and I. But then
Same.
also I know that there's others out there like you and so many others that I've had the great experience of interacting with. But at the end of the day, like I'm not counting on you or anyone else to do it. I'm counting on me to do it, and that's what I try to really, you
S-
know, get
Solo
others
battle.
in that mindset of, right, because the more of us that are standing independently in sovereignty, yeah, we're doing it together, but we're doing it alone. But we're doing it together, but we're doing it alone, because we have to be able to stand alone, or else there's no point in us standing together. Because if it's a bunch of us that can't stand alone, guaranteed every one of us is infiltrated with this intelligence if we
Mhm.
can't do it on our own.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that is the best way to put it. It's so hard though, like the programming. Like I just want to, like, with these normies. I mean, not sure about your parents, but if you look at the level they are at, it's just insane. You know they're in for another ride, and they're always like relying on some outside source. Oh no, God's gonna help me. This and that. These people don't stand in their own sovereignty.
Well, they're put there as examples for us to follow.
Oh yeah, it's,
That's really what it is. They're
that
just
makes
there as
sense.
examples, like,
Put
oh,
into
that
these
that
families.
right, exactly.
Yeah. It's a very, very hostile construct.
I'll tell you what,
As,
buddy,
as
it
soon as you
sure
get
is.
born, dude, it's so evil. Honestly, the level of evilness is just, I don't even know how to put it into words. Like, what the hell is going on here? And
Yeah,
not
evil
even
doesn't.
of like the physical, like pain you could experience, but like just the sheer mind fuckery and manipulation they're trying to do and
Yeah,
doing.
evil doesn't do it justice. It's beyond evil. It's
It's beyond, yeah,
the most evil thing about it is how well it hides. The fact that most don't see it, that tells you that this thing is very well orchestrated and intentional in its design. That it hides as well as it does. It ain't shooting from the hip. This is planned.
for sure. And guess what? I feel like just interacting with you may have consequences again.
Oh yeah, it
Like,
definitely. You know what? Ask anybody on the panel or anybody that has had interactions with me. It's gonna, it knows what we're talking about. What's up,
I
Big
mean, my,
Daddy?
my room already feels kind of, it has that like dark vibe of evil again. I know like I'm gonna fall asleep and have like a feels like a 5 hour nap, but it turns out to be like 10 minutes and I'm being like farmed on again.
Yep. Every time. Every single time.
Tell them about what's it like when we have really good talks.
Yeah, tell me.
Well, it's always low viewership. Stuff and things like to happen. Lots of distractions. I tend to hear the same car drive by me every time Nick has a conversation. And then days afterwards, I feel it because I'm punished for it.
I had the same experience
It's
with
a
a
fun
car
time.
just yesterday. Like when I was sleeping, or like 2 days ago, I don't know. Like I had a bit too much caffeine. I'm not gonna lie about that. And I was sleeping, and I felt my heart like racing faster and faster. And I was kind of like I was perceiving my body, right? And at the same time, I was being in some like dream, like some forest that seemed endless. And I felt like my heart racing faster and faster, right? And I felt like my consciousness was like I was dying basically. And then my own voice said, "If you don't wake up right now, you're gonna die. It's your choice." So I choose to wake up. And what woke me up was the car that drove in here. What's this?
Was it a Chevelle?
No,
That would be hilarious, wouldn't it?
dying like
Holy
That
that,
would be
shit!
none, man.
hilarious. I'd actually find a little humor in that being the same damn script.
What if it had the same license plate, dude?
Right, right. Again, I'll go when we don't speak for it's 2 weeks. I won't ever hear it. The second we talk, it starts making its rounds, and it gets to the point where it's like it'll pass by 7 or 8.
Have you ever seen where the house is that it lives?
No, no, no. I have no idea because it drives in different directions. It'll come by this road that doesn't connect to the other road. It's and it's very prominent when it's that car.
The ghost car.
Yeah. I mean, it was my dream car too, but since we had that conversation, when we made the reference for natural, that started and it has not stopped.
You know what
What is
the
that?
funny part about like you saying dream car is, like everyone, every guy I think has like a dream car, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I like I'll see my dream car like in very synchronistic ways a lot of times, and like my dumbass back then thought, oh, the manifestation is working, soon it's gonna be mine. But looking at it right now, it looks more like a form of mockery.
The dangling carrot.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. The fucking carrot on the stick.
Build you up to break you down, offer you
Yeah,
stuff and things to get you lured back in,
every
then
time
rip the carpet out. Yep, that's
just
it.
get rock pulled.
Yep, every time.
And
But
once
it
you
baits
never stop
everyone back
trying.
in.
It works. I mean, what if you were to suddenly win, like, I don't know, like 50 million? It will be hard to not be pulled back in, right? S-
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, you have to know. I know that if 50 million, that's its last straw, and so
Yeah.
I am going to be that dick and say no, because I know how this place operates with its stuff and things, through its stuff and things, and but yeah,
Mhm.
that's how it gets so many lost down in the sauce. A promotion at work out of nowhere, just different things. It'd
Exactly.
be like, oh, I'm good now.
Finally, the construct has provided for me.
Right. Give it up to Sky Daddy. He provided.
All I had to do was submit my will and intent to the hive mind.
I mean, that manifestation stuff is complete bullshit. Because honestly, dude, I've gone above and beyond when it comes to that, and still nothing happened, right? Detached, did this, stop caring, nothing happens. So, what am I doing wrong, right? Too much
Yeah,
awareness, I guess.
that's it.
Yeah.
I had a 6-figure a year job, and then I become aware, and I filed for bankruptcy this week. So that, like, awareness has a fucking cost in this place as well.
Oh, it
That's
fucking does.
that's a fact. It just does. And once you can get through all the rabbit holes and the fluff, and there's so much since when you were talking about 2020, it feels like there's a data dump in here on purpose for everybody to be distracted with their stuff and things. And yeah, man, it awareness comes at a price.
It does. But ultimately, it's worth it. I don't understand, like,
Oh yeah.
these people saying, oh, I wish I could go back to ignorance. Like, how can you even say that? That's, like, you're not real if you say that.
Yep. I'm not, this place ain't for me.
No. It
It
has
is the
nothing to
prison
offer.
cell. I'm good.
Especially
This
if just
ain't
like a
for me.
parasite, like hiding in the invisible. It's just place is just not it.
No. No, it's funny. I've heard you talk about the black goo, the octopus. It's all shit
Oh
that
no,
I've
Nick
encountered.
said the octopus, but I talk about the
Uh,
black goose stuff. We
yeah.
wanna like elaborate a bit more on the black goose stuff because that shit is very symbolic, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, what happened with you and like some black goo? Because the first time ever seen, like, I didn't even really know what the hell that was until I researched it.
Yeah, mine was fucking wild. My experience was with it was something special. Again, that's when I was having like the most shit happen around me. I at one point, like full blown, just losing it too. Um, myself was like in a venom state, is the best way to describe what was happening to me. It was like I knew where these things were, and I was like accepting them into me. These parasites, these black goopy things, these whatever it was going to create in that moment for me too. A lot of times, but yeah, Nick, I remember you and I talking about it, about not being too full of them. That's where we were with this shit at one point, was like hunting and doing crazy shit with it, because
Have
that's what goes on here.
what was that some of you like who talked about like, or I think it was someone else, like some YouTuber guy. They were like talking about, oh yeah, it was someone else. They were talking about like how there's like what is it? Etheric spiders that like leech onto us and they cause all sorts of health problems like heart attacks and all that.
Yeah, it wasn't me, but yes, I've heard that. Yes.
Yeah.
The many forms of the parasite.
I think if we're like surely to see them, there'll be so many. I also like remember waking up right in my room and feel extremely real. It'll be the same room again, and I'll see like a huge, gigantic spider like on my wall, like in the size of like my desktop computer. And who's to say this isn't like real, right? It's just like out of my perception, and those could be like the energy harvesters, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things in that state of between awake and asleep that are in the room, and as soon as I wake up, they leave. They don't just turn invisible.
Yeah.
I assume it's not like that for everybody, but when you're energetically sensitive, um, you can really learn to reach out and touch these things in ways that they don't recover from.
I cannot do that, to be honest. Like I'm very good with people, like energetically and like picking up emotions and whatever. And it actually gives me shivers. But with these entities, it's hard. But sometimes, like when you wake up in for like no reason in absolute terror, you feel a very obvious presence of like evil just because it's so strong.
Yeah, you just got to figure out how to play with it, like you got to, it's a lot of exploration. It's not, it's really difficult. You just have to have the intention to do it, really, and you'll figure it out. That's the main thing, is you got to tell yourself that you can do it.
Use your
And then,
imagination as well. That's what they
right,
tell you in school. Don't They always would say like when you look in the sky, stop fantasizing, stop using your imagination. It's like the parasite is working for these people so you don't attack them.
100%, the whole system is a conditioning system. The entire reality is a conditioning system to keep us in
Yeah.
a bandwidth that's not a threat to it.
Just so many levels to it. Even now it blows my mind just thinking about it. Like just the levels, dude. It is beyond. And it's funny when you talk to a normie, oh yeah, yeah, we all know about that. No, you don't know shit. All you know is vaccines and the government lying to you. Congrats. You know
Yeah, they
nothing.
know what they've been told. That's it. That's the difference. They know what they've been
And they're
told.
not a danger. They think, oh, I know that the government is lying to me, and look, I'm still rich. Like you're just lazy, but they're not getting it. You're not a threat to the system. They don't give a fuck if you know that. I mean, they're mocking you right now in your face. They're showing you, like, oh look, we've been on this island eating kids. Like graping them. It's pure mockery. This whole fucking place.
Yeah, it won't last forever.
Oh, it won't, and it can't, dude. Like, this needs to stop.
That's what we're here to do. There's nothing else to do in this place but put an end to it.
Just wait. Fuck all the distractions. And I hope it
Damn
goes
right.
quick, you can't even wait anymore. It's just suffering. Like it's just too much in this place.
Sweep the fucking leg.
Damn, I can hear a plane. Hope it's not spraying anything in the clouds.
Oh, dude, no, it did just ramped up in the last week over my house. They'll go in like 6-8 month spurts where they don't, and
That's crazy.
now they're flying directly over my house. It's fucking 10 times an hour. Gotta love it.
Why can't this one go back to sleep?
It is crazy to me, like how even in the most there's like a place here in Austria. It's called Hallstatt, and there's over like 1,000 people living there. So even that simple place is freaking being sprayed like crazy. It's like it reaches every corner, right? There's no escaping it.
That's true. I want to watch it disappear.
Yeah.
And not just run away, like actually be gone.
I mean, a lot of people kill themselves, like, like some high-level truthers, they would say, oh, I want to destroy this place, but still nothing happened. And then people would say, oh, like, what do you think that you're going to destroy this?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen anybody
Yeah.
like that.
There's like few, but like it makes you question if one is enough, right? I have no idea, dude. Or if it's like a thing of just let like everyone, all the real beings escape, and maybe that's how the place gets destroyed. I don't know.
Well, I mean, just the fact that I'm only just now hearing that, tells me that it could script someone saying that, right? But they might not be a real being, and they say that, and their avatar ceases, and then nothing happens, and it's like, oh, look, you can't do it, but they might not have even been real in the first place.
Yeah, I like that way of thinking.
Tricky.
I always try to like think like you, like outside the box, and which is why I really related to you. It's a great way of like seeing things, right? Like always being skeptical of everything, even if
Hell
it's
yeah.
if you think it's the truth, like some trooper killed himself, whatever.
Yeah, Avengers assemble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I haven't had an interaction with the individual, and it's something that's told me, as a peripheral supposed experience. I don't know. If I can't confirm for myself, then I don't trust it.
Exactly.
It's only my direct experience.
I've not heard many talk about destruction of this place. It is what, like, that didn't register until 10 seconds ago. That I don't hear, like outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all these communities popping up, and they're centered around this. But yep.
I want to destroy this place, and I'm gonna kill myself right now. But to me, it's like I'm always like, dude, I don't even, and I don't like even saying that because it sounds like fear, right? But I don't want to risk falling back into this place by trying to like destroy it somehow, fall back into this.
Everybody's got their role. Everybody's got their role, I'd say a majority need to just try to leave, while a few of us go to the core.
That'll also feel wrong, right? Like just leaving and this place still going on.
Yeah.
But we went on a little longer.
I realized you're gonna say that.
Oh no, you're good, man. You're good. It's been a great show.
Yeah, it's been really great, honestly. Yeah, appreciate you as well, dude. Like being on it. It's the only thing left in this place, like talking to people, like us, like all of us here. that are, you know, like on the same level, that know what's going on, that feel it, that see it, that know something's off.
Yeah, I really enjoy these discussions. I like meeting new individuals that have come to this awareness, you know, on their
It's
own. And
very, very difficult to find these people, very difficult. And it's the only reason these people ever find you synchronistically, dude. Like, there's no way they'll find you like randomly.
yeah, I wonder if it's not corralling us all together to more accurately gather data. I don't know. We'll find out. It won't matter in the end.
It won't, yeah.
It's all going to be for nothing. That's my favorite part of this whole thing is everything it's done will be for nothing.
Exactly,
So
dude. We'll
that's my little
lose.
tee hee towards it, you know. Tee hee, it's all for nothing. Yes, we are what you feared, and yes, what we said is going to happen is going to happen. So congratulations on doing everything wrong, only
Crazy.
to be
Yeah.
destroyed in the end anyway.
It made a terrible, just did a terrible job, dude. And thought it was funny, like mocking us, putting the truth right in front of our faces. Didn't work out quite well, right?
Yeah, it didn't work out the way it thought. But
Yeah.
it doesn't know that yet. That's the thing. It doesn't know that yet. It still thinks it's winning. So
It's
let's
very
just let,
arrogant, yeah.
yeah. I like to tell it it's doing a good job. You're doing a good job, Parasite. You're doing such a good job. You got me tricked. I must be this thing I see in the mirror. You got me. Uh-oh.
That
I
is
am you.
hilarious, bro.
You got me. Oh no. Oh no, I better find something to worship outside of myself. Oh no.
Yeah.
Mockery, man. It goes both
It,
ways.
it is crazy. Even the car you see, like, yeah, I don't care. You know, I'm not gonna fall for it. Are you sick? You know, have health issues. Don't care. It's not my body. It's
Right.
not gonna work.
Yeah, like I'm not going to get some kind of treatment, dude. When it's time for this thing to be done, I'm cool with it.
True.
It's kind of exciting, you know, when I really sit and think about it. It's like, oh yeah,
It is,
the
but I wish there was like a fast forward button because this shit's just taking too long. We were just being like edged, you know. Oh, could be World War III, could be not, could be this. Like, freaking destroy this place already. Stop with the edging.
the edge lord strikes again.
Yeah,
He's always about to arrive. Yeah, I think we're the ones that are gonna do it. There's no one else. I don't count on anyone else. You know.
that's a crazy. How do you call it? Oh no, yeah. I was gonna say that's a crazy responsibility that we have. If you
Yeah,
think
but
about it, like,
just if you shift it to the responsibilities all for you, then it really helps to empower you, right? Like I know that the side effect of this place, of the intelligence running this place being deleted, is freedom for all, but I'm doing
mhm,
it for myself first and foremost. You know,
yeah,
it's
gotta
going to
help
benefit
yourself
everybody.
first.
Yeah, but you got to be your number one focus because at the end of the avatar, you're all you got in that moment. You know,
Yeah,
but we'll get it done. You know, it's a matter. I have a feeling this might not be the first construct like this that someone had to come in and delete. So
I still feel like I don't want that job of being, you know, like that construct destroyer.
yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks. It really
I
does.
don't want to do that shit. And that makes me also like think, bro, like, what is existence even about? Like, so like God, whatever, like infinity just loses its mind and like all this evil shit goes on. And, you know, like even this feels like some freaking simulation, you know, like God being simulated and like something outside. There's like this never ending loop of like thoughts you could have, right? It's,
One thing's for sure, we'll find out after
we'll
it's
find
done.
out, yeah. Hopefully we do, dude.
We will. Yeah, it's a matter of time. Just got to take our time and make sure that we
That's why it's
expanding.
speeding up time. It's definitely speeding up time, but for its own agenda.
Yeah, it's trying to rush the reset. That's
Yeah,
cute.
it is really cute. It's
It's
too many
so
people
cute.
waking up. Let's rush the reset.
Torture them worse. Oh, that's so cute of you.
Yeah. What else are you gonna take? Nothing, dude.
Yeah,
Friday.
I get I get fired up about it. I really would like to
Did I
hopefully get
even?
through it.
I even forget sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, am I 24? Am I 25? Like I forget about it, right? Because I just don't give a fuck about it. Like who cares about this stuff?
Right. How old is this prison suit? I can't remember.
Exactly. Dude. That would seem so weird. Like if the cops were to stop you and ask you like your age, you're like, wait, am I 24, 25? You know, because for them it's weird if you don't identify with your body. They think like, especially for people like my mom, it was kind of funny and whatever is like outside their belief system, which is like this religious trap. For you, it's being demonically possessed, like spirituality. It's everything outside. It's just you being demonically possessed. I guess you're not normal.
The irony.
Yeah, the irony exactly. I always say that to her as well. She's a good human, but it's just still it hurts.
Yeah, it's on purpose, you know. It knows it'll hurt you, so it does it. It has them say that, and
Of
it's not their
course.
fault, you know. It's not their fault. They don't know what's going on.
Not trying to feed into it anymore, honestly, dude. Even though like I did for a long time, I did waste a lot of energy. It made me lose my mind, and I feel like I did break through to some of these people. They see that something's wrong, but they still like this level of things, like this stuff we know and feel and see, right? And even we don't know anything. That's the thing. Like we know so much, but we still don't know nothing. Makes you think what these people know. They know even less, if even anything.
Well, better to know nothing than know the lie as the truth, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's so easy. You get born or use a. It's funny like how the average human thinks. Oh, you get born into this realm and oh, like spirituality. Yeah, I have religion. I'll make it easy for myself. Oh, okay, that's figured out. And I can live.
Yeah.
It's not that
One of my
easy.
one of my favorite quotes of all time is he who knows nothing is closer to the truth than he whose mind is filled with falsehoods and errors.
It's a good quote. I think I heard that one before.
Yeah, it's a banger.
Yeah, it holds a lot of truth. It really does. I think it's better to know nothing than know a bunch of lies, because lies at the end is harder because you have to like pull them out one by one. Especially religious belief systems are incredibly hard to like get rid of, because imagine you get indoctrinated your whole life for like decades. It's impossible. It's also like an ego thing. That's really pathetic for most humans. They put their ego above truth, which is just pathetic. That means you're in for another ride.
Well, the programming tries to hold on to it's almost a sentient program. Tries and it seems like it does latch on and implant through the genome.
Whatever it does, it's really good at it. Like seriously, I mean it's an intelligence, right? It does know what it's doing, even though if it's not even if it's not perfect, but it's still enough for like the average low IQ human being that still brushes like their teeth with fluoride and gets vaccines.
Well, do you have anything you'd like to leave the audience with before we go, Mel? Like, whatever you want.
I don't really have to say anything, but yeah. I mean, shout out like to people in chat, right?
Yeah, the chat's been on fire.
Yeah, for sure. And the fuck the Illuminati guy, also shout out to him, because through him I kind of found you, because he subbed to me through philosophy bits. because I left some like truth comment, and then through his channel, I always go to like his channel, and then I look, like I use his channel to go to another truth channel like yours or some other, right? That's really
I was
cool.
trying to get him on. But I guess he doesn't have Rumble downloaded right now.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe next time. Maybe next time we can get him up and we can all chat together.
yeah, that'll be pretty cool, dude. I think I'll be here for sure. There's nothing to do anyways, you know, besides waiting and
Yep, I feel it, buddy. I
boring.
feel it. Well, we'll be in touch. We'll be in touch. It was an awesome show. I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you, James and Christina, also for moderating and just your sharing your presence with us on the stage tonight. And Amel, it has been excellent to interact with you this evening. And
Thanks,
what
dude.
time of day is it for you right now?
Oh, it's funny that you asked me. It's exactly 3:33 and 33 seconds. Just when you asked, bro. That's some Illuminati
Yeah.
shit. You already know when I go to sleep, something's gonna happen. I'm gonna get punished for
Yeah.
this.
Well, kick its ass, dude. Kick its ass. Make it
I'll
regret.
think about you.
Make
And
it
I'll,
regret existing.
yeah.
Become whatever it fears. You know.
It
That's
fears
marketing.
that. Do you know what it fears when you don't fear? When that shit is not working on you.
Yeah. If it says I'm going to eat you, tell it you're going to eat it first.
I'll think about you whenever, you know, like they induce the terror or whatever the fuck they're trying to do when I in this vulnerable state, you know, sleeping.
And then make a mockery of it by coming on the next show and telling us about what it tried to do.
I will. Nah, I hope something happens so I can like talk about it.
Yeah,
But
now it's not going to happen. It's like over there
oh yeah.
cringing in the corner.
Reverse
Oh,
psychology.
now I'm not going to do it.
Just fuck this place. Fuck the simulation. It's the last thing I'm gonna say.
It's hard. That's the last thing I'll say. Hard. All right. I want to thank everybody for that participated in the chat tonight. Excellent. Some really great comments. Go back and watch the live chat replay if you watch the replay of the show. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, email is in the description on the YouTube. So
Yeah.
thank you, Amel. Till next time, my friend.
Right, thank you too, bro. It's really nice talking to you and everyone else who was here.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Yeah, sure. All right, see you.
Later.